The Fan. Sports. Day of the week. Oh, this is some clever branding. Here's your host. Place, name, here.
We'll endeavor to get better imaging for the Saturday Spectacular in 2027. Happy Saturday, everybody. Eric Reiser, Jeff Thidoff.
Just the two of us.
Rolling along this first Saturday of the new year.
We try just the two.
Hope everybody's resolutions are going well.
Two of us.
Hope you're doing less of putting 2025 on your things. I know on the show sheets that we do and whatever you have to fill out for corporate purposes, which is a less many things. This corporate seems, I guess, to get less involved for some reason. That might happen later in the year. I still have 2025. And Tito, I think it still takes me about a month before I actually realize it's 2026.
But checks are no longer a thing, right?
I won't say that for certainty because I know I don't.
Okay. Yeah, anybody, okay, I'm 54.
Venmo and Cash App.
Anybody older than me may still be right. My dad will still write out a check.
There's a chance. I got a check from my grandma for Christmas because I was a good boy this year.
Of course you were.
So.
How much was the check?
$50.
Okay, you get 50 grand.
Thanks, Grandma.
No kidding.
It's going into the house fund.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to buy one of those. Here, it's not a great time to do that.
No, don't buy a house.
Look, we'll endeavor it for 2027.
You realize I have a cot here at the studio, here in the station.
You never leave
back.
this place.
No, I don't. I sleep back there. I don't pay rent.
I have to nudge you with my heel.
Yes, you do. I don't write checks. I don't tape ankles. I don't cash checks. I don't write checks. Don't tape ankles.
Have you ever tried to tape an ankle before?
I've tried to tape my ankle when I was younger and had a sprained ankle for a rec league game. And didn't feel good. I didn't do a great job of it, taping my own ankle. But no, I've never tried to tape someone. Have you ever tried to tape somebody else's ankle?
No. I've tried to tape my own. So in high school, I was on the football team. I didn't play much. Mm-hmm. And one of the older players made a really good point of if you're not going into the game, you don't need your ankles taped beforehand.
Fair.
And so I'm like, that's true. I'm not going to waste the trainer's times taping other people's ankles. I'll just see if I can put something together on my ankle.
Sure.
And I never got injured. So I had that going for me. I never played. So it might be a correlation of
what
less
years
playing
were you
time.
There?
I was at UA until 2008.
Okay. I saw Simon Fraser the other day. From
UA legend.
Yes. UA legend Simon Fraser.
Every kid that I played football with wanted to be Simon Fraser.
Really?
They wanted to win a state championship at Upper Arlington. Mm-hmm. They wanted to play at Ohio State. They wanted to play in the NFL.
One of the first assignments I ever had was the first time I ever covered a college announcement was I told Ray Stein at the dispatch, said, hey, Simon Fraser can make an announcement today on where he's going. Go cover it. So I go to UA at the time. I'm sure it was the same when you were there. Like the weight room and everything was underneath the stadium.
Yep.
So I'm like nervous. I'm expecting the traditional, like the table with hats and stuff, and big deal. I get in there, the guy's working out. I don't know where Simon is. I don't see Simon. I'm just kind of, I'm creepy old guy hanging out in a high school weight room.
You couldn't have been that old.
It was
30-year-old Tito?
I was 30 years old. And almost 30. I was 29. Anyway. And I'm waiting around for some kind of big thing. And the coach, Daryl, who was it? Who was the coach?
Daryl Moore?
Moore, is that it was? Who's the stadium named after? Is that
Moorhead.
Moorhead. Moorhead Stadium. Isn't the field named after?
Moorhead Memorial Stadium.
Is it Daryl something Field?
We're getting screamed. I don't think the field's named.
The shorter coach. I say shorter coach.
He was vertically challenged, yes. Okay. And he looked like not necessarily full Tim May, but Ashley Schaefer from Ashley Schaefer BMW and Eastbound and Down. He was a shorter version of that.
He was. Okay. He comes out of his office in the middle of everyone doing this. He says, I'm going to do this. Ready? This is for you. He's going to Ohio State. And that was it.
Daryl Maine.
Daryl Maine. Yeah. Comes out, he yells that in his Tim May drawl.
He was Southern.
He's going to Ohio State. That was my story.
How'd you write that?
Exactly.
Did you have a word count?
I did. That was a word count,
Daryl Maine popped out of the coach's office.
Right.
Going to Ohio State.
Yes, going to Ohio State. That's all it was. That was the announcement I got to coach. I saw Simon and told him that story. That I hadn't seen Simon in person since then.
Yeah, back then that's all you needed.
Right.
And now you've got graphics and you've got announcements. Sometimes you have announcements on national programs.
Yes.
And even those announcements, Tito, as we've learned this week, don't necessarily matter a year from when the announcement's made. Because kids, if you haven't noticed, we're going portaling.
Yes.
It opened yesterday. It'll be open till Friday, January 16th. And it speaks to the transparency or the lack of transparency that this whole process is. Because right now, On3's got a little over 2,300 players in the transfer portal. But I saw a figure on ESPN yesterday that had like 4,500.
Wow.
And so I don't know if they're differentiating On3 is between D1 football players in the portal and ESPN's using the all college football players through all divisions in the transfer portal. I think only here we're worried about Division I players and most especially Buckeyes and then Buckeye targets. But the idea that there are thousands of kids that have said, no, this isn't the spot for me. And in some cases, hundreds of players that have said, well, third time's the charm, right? Or for, I speak to Devin Brown, who's announced his transfer from Cal.
Yeah. Interesting, if this had been in existence 20 years ago, how much different Ohio State football would have been.
Yeah.
Like, think about guys that waited and stuck around 25 years ago, even though they weren't going to be a starter. Every time I talk to a former Buckeye, Phil, like I asked Justin Zwick, would you have transferred? He probably would have. If it would have been like, hey, I can go somewhere right now and play next year, and I wouldn't have blamed him for it.
No.
But like guys like that, though, that maybe even going back further, Maurice Hall, when Clouette got here, maybe Mo Hall and Lido Ross, who knows? They might transfer. Guys like that.
Is Joshua Perry, is Tyvis Powell.
Right.
Are they winning a national championship with the Buckeyes? Tyvis, I think Joshua said a similar story where Urban didn't necessarily tell them, and he might have explicitly told them, I don't think you're right for this program. I don't think you're good enough to play for me.
Krenzel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Krenzel was a backup for a while.
I think Zwick's probably the best example we can use here because it was so back and forth until it wasn't.
Right.
And then
you get Troy Smith in front of you. What are you going to do?
Because, you didn't know then.
Right.
But he becomes the Heisman Trophy winner. He cements a legacy all of his own at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And, of course, you wish the best. I think right now we're a little under maybe a baker's dozen of Buckeyes that are in the transfer portal. I looked at the list, and that will still continue. That will still grow over probably the next couple of days. Again, you've got 2 weeks until the thing closes. And then even after that, what is it? The rule says it's got to close. Okay, enforce that rule, NCAA.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think they're still working on NBA guys that want to play at the college level. So every morning it feels like the NCAA is trying to put out different fires or maybe just looking at a fire and saying, well, that's pretty and that's warm and then ignoring it. But anybody that you thought, Tito, this week that wouldn't transfer? James Peoples surprised me. Because I thought, obviously Bo Jackson's running back one going into next season.
In the West.
We do have plenty to dissect from that Cotton Bowl calamity. We got 3 hours to do so. We'll be with you till noon. Tyler Danberg's going to join us at 10:30. But I really thought James Peoples would stick around it and maybe try to make it. Because you're right. They love Isaiah West, and it's hard to not when you watch him play.
Yeah. I think that the Peoples thing, I'm not shocked by it.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be number 3 going into next year, Peoples. Like I think that Bo Jackson West are 1 and 2, and it's locked in. It's locked in. And I don't know. I'd look at the recruiting class. I got to believe there's somebody else coming in or somebody else transferring that's a really good running back as well. I'm going to say this. It's not a knock on Peoples. He would be a damn good running back in the MAC. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's talented. He could put up some really good numbers in the MAC or a conference like that for a team. And that's better than being the number 3 or 4 at Ohio State.
Go back to a line Urban used to say, life in the big city, right? Because there's just so much. I mean, C.J. Hicks, a guy you thought would come in right away, and it's never materialized.
Right. And
so he is looking to find a greener pasture in the transfer portal. You also have Lincoln Keenholz.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of expected that. I'm looking right now, and the Ohio State's 2026 class has one running back at a Delaware Hayes, a 3-star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's good. Yeah.
So they're always going to bring in that kind of talent. And you wonder maybe if a C.J. Donaldson situation happens again, where they look to a veteran running back to bring in. Because, we think about this last season, and I understand from an Ohio State fan how it's a disappointment how it ended, right? You lose the Big Ten championship game to an Indiana team that is a juggernaut. Like Indiana football in 2025 into 2026 is going to roll. They beat Oregon by 10 in the regular season. I don't know if it's going to be worse but I think they're going to handle the Ducks in what would it be, the Fiesta Bowl semifinal coming up this Friday. But with Donaldson, taking more of a, I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but Donaldson, if they go looking for veteran spots at some of those positions, because Bryson Rogers hits the portal, they lost Bryce West. So you lose younger guys in positions that could have been competed for next season. But with the Cotton Bowl, with the Big Ten Championship, you still had one of the more prolific seasons in terms of the first 12 games that an Ohio State offense has ever had, because this is the first year for Julian Saint as the quarterback, and you didn't know what you were going to get from him, and he comes out and he's spectacular. He's one of the most efficient passers in the country up until those last two games. There's a reason he was a Heisman finalist. Bo Jackson, you had heard of. You thought he'll be a guy maybe next year. He comes onto the scene right away as running back one. Jeremiah Smith has just as good of a season, so he's stacked. He's also in the top 10 of Heisman categories. You bring in Matt Patricia on the defensive side. So I don't want, obviously, to overshadow what happened on New Year's Eve, because we have a lot to get into with that and what it means for 2026. But I just think for some of these young guys, like, the opportunity was there, and I think this past season showed that. So it's disappointing to see them go into the portal, but I also think Ohio State has issues that need to be fixed. And they'll utilize the portal to do that rather than develop or look to guys in 2026 to step up right away.
That's the thing I want to look at, Reese, is the people Ohio State, the players they're losing. Are any of them like, oh, my God, I can't believe we're losing him? I don't think that's – and it's usually not the way it is, right? Like, even going back to who's the receiver that went to Alabama and then to the Lions now? Jameson Williams. Yep. Even looking back, like, very talented guy, really talented receiver. But at the time, I wasn't like, oh, how are we going to replace that guy? And I think that's what one of the promising, one of the encouraging things when I look at these lists of guys Ohio State might lose. It's not like Keen Holes, I'll root for Keen Holes. Yeah, I totally understand why he's leaving.
I want Devin Brown to succeed.
Yes. Me too. I didn't want Tate Martell to.
Nah,
Right, you didn't want Tate Martell. Admit it. No, admit it. You and I could both say.
I want everybody to sucid.
There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do that.
Everybody gets a ribbon.
Everyone gets a ribbon. Yep. Here we go.
You too, Tathan.
I didn't want Martell to succeed.
You think he was rooting for Miami the other night? Because both schools told him, no thanks.
I think he was probably still hungover from a UNLV game. Who'd they play? The UNLV played like Minnesota or something. Did they play somebody?
I think they made it a bowl game. They let everybody in the bowl game.
I know. They played the bowl game. I can't remember who. I think it was Minnesota beat, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll have some potential portal picks that Tito and I would like to see on this Ohio State roster, because the Buckeyes do need a kicker. Because that situation now, the room is empty. And we'll try to figure out where Ohio State does go from there over the next 3 hours. It's the final week of the NFL's regular season. All four coaches in the AFC North are on the hot seat. And it feels like the one that's going to be guaranteed a safe passage into 2026 is the one that wins the division. But it's the fattest kid in the race is what the AFC North has become. We got a very busy show. It's Reiser, it's Tito, it's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You can count on Meijer to help make your New Year's resolutions a good deal better. This week, enjoy healthy savings on essentials like Meijer Wellness Vitamins. Now buy one, get one free. Select fitness nutrition products are buy one, get one 50% off. Fresh from Meijer chicken breast small packs are buy two, get one free. And mandarin oranges are only $3.99 for a 3-pound bag. Shop Meijer and bring more good to your wellness journey with huge savings and selection. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time, For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at MDA.org today.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Save big money on new appliances when you shop at Menards. We have an excellent in-stock appliance selection from great brands at the best prices, ready to take home today. Whether you want new laundry appliances or need upgrades for your kitchen, you'll be sure to find appliances that'll make your life easier. Visit Menards and save big money on appliances today. Plus, check out Menards.com to view all of our great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Rockman and Ice.
They've revolutionized the money clip. What does Tyvis Powell carry?
Say this word for word. You got that clip on you?
Oh, he's going to think you're talking about that. What is that?
Rockman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking mostly cloudy skies here for your Saturday with high temperatures around 29 here this afternoon. Winds will be fairly light out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine, and highs are back into the lower 30s. But we are looking ahead to a warm-up here as we head through the week. Highs are in the 40s on Monday, but all the way to the 50s here as we head towards the middle to end of the work week. But also looking ahead to some rain here by Tuesday, and likely some more rain on Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
I'm trying to think what else you would tailgate on this Saturday. We have Blue Jackets hockey today at 3. Blue Jackets hockey tomorrow at 3. I'm a firm believer, Tito, if the Blue Jackets are going to play games Saturdays and Sundays, they need to happen in the afternoon.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Matinee hockey game, there's nothing better.
Hey, you could take it's a thing where you'll take your kids, and that's what today's like Kids Fest Day or something. They're marketed it somehow as like Kids Fest, which is smart. But yes, a 3:00 Jackets game, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the Buffalo Sabres today, Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow. Good news for the CBJ. Zach Werenski is expected back on the ice for today's contest. I think, Tito, well, we're 34 days away from the Winter Olympics. I think for the Blue Jackets, that's where I'm moving the goalpost to.
Okay.
Because I acknowledge that I'm moving the goalpost for Jackets expectations. Just stay a couple points within striking distance of a playoff spot. So when you come out of that break, if you're playing a little bit better than you were in the month of December, then maybe you can take one of those playoff spots, because playoffs are the goal for the CBJ this season.
There's two ways to look at it right now. The Jackets are in last place in the Eastern Conference.
No, don't do that.
Okay, but they're only 6 points out of the second wild card against the Sabres.
Yes.
They play. The Sabres are 46, Jackets are 40. Jackets play the Sabres today. They can pick up a couple of points on them, but the Jackets cannot move into the place above where they're at right now because they're at 40, Ottawa's at 43.
And the Penguins are the first team out of the wild card in the East at 45 points. Like you said, the Sabres with 46. So it's glass half full.
Yeah.
Is how I'm looking at it right now.
A third of the way full,
I think getting Werenski back, he's been out since I think December 20th or something to that effect. So having your captain back, or having your leader, your unquestioned leader back, I hope gives them a spark. But you can hear Blue Jackets hockey on the Fan. Coverage will be at 2:30. We're off the air at noon. I think you get Westwood One Sports for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's the final week of the NFL, as I said in the tease leading into the break, and so it's real busy on that front.
By the way, is Shinnikov playing tomorrow then against the Jackets? He would be, wouldn't he?
I would imagine Shinnikov plays. Yeah,
okay.
I haven't heard anything about his health status. I think he's
fine.
Boy, that could come back to haunt them.
I know what it's okay.
When I saw that, I had assumed before the season. Now this has become a Jacket segment where you had Dean Evison or Don Waddell say that they wanted to keep him and they wanted to work things out. But anytime a player asks for a change of scenery, you always feel, all right, well, there's a trade coming down the line, and it probably would have happened for Elvis, but for his contract,
right? Yeah.
But with Shinnikov, I figure, okay, yeah, they'll trade him sometime. And when I saw you see those emails come from the Jackets, because you read the things on Twitter and you're like, oh, please no, because again, you expect the trade to happen. Not to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
He played 11 minutes against Detroit the other night, so yeah, he's playing.
It just screams third period goal.
It really does. You're right.
Because I'm hoping the Jackets leave their third period woes in 2025. They ended the year with a really bad 2 minutes. A bad 2 minutes in the final 20 is what upended them against the Devils.
Also against other ones you could say that. Yes,
but
I know.
Just in terms of recency.
Yes, I know.
And there's no such thing as a must-win in January. But there's must not lose. And I think that same thing can be said for the basketball Buckeyes last night in Piscataway, taking on Rutgers. Buckeyes are down a couple points at the half, but do pull away to win 80-73. Bruce Thornton had 20 points in the win. He's now 8th all-time on Ohio State's scoring list. Last night, he moved ahead of Jay Burson. I don't have a good Jay Burson impersonation. I wish I had a hotkey of Common Man doing it, but he's now looking up at Jim Jackson, who's got 1785 in his seasons at Ohio State. I'm talking about Jim Jackson, but Bruce Thornton will probably finish 2
or 1. I'm telling you.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think Reimer's broken down the math before.
He has.
Where he's got to average a little more like 21, 22
like
points a game. And doable for Thornton.
Yes.
But I wonder, Tito, as you've got Nebraska Monday night at the Shot, where for this Ohio State team, and I'm not moving the goalposts on these guys.
No.
You have to make the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Thornton's got to score less, but you've still got to win more, if that makes sense, because I think this team has a better chance of making a run in March, or at least making it into March, with Thornton as your Robin.
Thornton had 20 points and 10 rebounds.
And it was his third double-double?
Yes. And I agree, you need Thornton to score less, but you still
someone's got to.
Yeah, someone's got to do it, and you still need Thornton to score at the end. The last 5 minutes of a game, that's Bruce Thornton Wayne time right there. Like, that's what he's got to do it. And I don't know if it's Bynum. I don't know if it's Royal. I don't know if it's Tilly. It could. If Mobley gets hot, Mobley's a game changer too. But somebody else does have to. Last night, Royal had 16 points. 3 boards, 4 assists. Bynum only had 9 points. Tilly's in foul trouble, only played 20 minutes. Brandon Knoll had 20 minutes as well, scored 14 points. I like him better off the bench anyway. I know I liked Bynum's energy off the bench, but if Knoll can do that off the bench, that's a big deal for them. He had 14 points off the bench. Yeah, he played 20 minutes. Cupps played 11. White played 7. Chatham played 3. I need more out of Chatham, too.
And I understand, you're still trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
With a roster that year over year gets turned over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of life in college basketball right now. But with Ohio State, you're 2-1 in Big Ten play, 10-3 overall. Nebraska's in town. Cornhuskers haven't lost a game.
It's amazing.
They're ranked 13th in the country. The tip will be at 6:30 at the Value City Arena. Brandon Beam will be on at 5:30 to gently warm you up for that game. Not a must-win. A should not lose.
I love how you put that on the sheet, too. And I read it. I was like, you know what? Because you phrased it that way for Ohio State in that game last night.
Right.
You said, wasn't a must-win, but was a must-not-lose. And that's a perfect way to phrase it. If they're on the wrong side of it, but if they didn't forcibly lose it, if that makes sense. If they get outplayed, if Nebraska comes in and goes lights out and has one of their better games of the year, that's not a game Ohio State lost. It's a game Nebraska won. Fair?
Very. And with that, the fairness conversation, I watch more Michigan basketball now than I thought I ever would, because the Jake Diebler, Dusty May conversation is one that has to be had.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when, and it has to be had now. It always has to be in the back of Ohio State fans' minds, because those two are available at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And for Dusty May, Michigan's also unblemished on the year. They're second in the country. Now Michigan fans are coming out of the woodwork because of Ohio State's loss. Well, a basketball school anyway.
Yeah, right. Yes, I know.
Indiana's a football school. Michigan's a basketball. Like, what is 2026?
Yes.
The Wolverines crushed USC 96-66 last night. And they're always just going to be on parallel paths and parallel conversations because of the timing of both hires. Ohio State just needs to get into the NCAA tournament and try to make some noise and see if the development can go further than that. Michigan's a national title contender.
Lenardi's got them right now as an 11 seed playing in the play-in game in Dayton against Miami.
See, I look in the YouTube chat, and someone named Sun Goku says 3,700 players have entered the portal.
Right.
And I saw a figure from ESPN that said 4,000 players have entered the transfer portal. And I'm looking right now at On3, and they've got 2,034 players in the transfer portal. I think more so it speaks to the lack of transparency for this whole process. I'm not saying that 3,700 number is wrong. I'm not saying ESPN's 4,500 number is wrong. And I'm not saying On3's number of 2,034 is wrong. I'm saying nobody really knows anything because this process is as clear as mud.
I think it's more just a case of they hit publish on the article, and then more people entered before the next one was published.
Well, On3's, theirs is consistent. I was doing the 9 to noon show with Joshua Perry and Ryan Baker yesterday, and it was 1,700. And so it's ticked up on On3's. So I only use that as nobody really knows anything, because Sam Levitt went into the portal yesterday officially.
Right.
But you had kind of known that was going to be the case for weeks.
Right.
He enters the portal with a no contact tag. So teams can't reach out to contact him. Then what's the point of going into the portal?
Right.
Because it's part of the process, I guess. Well, none of this makes sense. So when anybody tries to make real sense of it to you, just take it with the biggest grain of salt there is. We do have some portal desires. Tito, I know you have some portal desires for Ohio State this upcoming season. I've got some as well. We'll get you ours in 2 minutes. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey, Aaron, what New Year's resolutions are you and I making this year?
Are you saying that I'm supposed to make New Year's resolutions for both of us?
Aaron, you know that thing where someone buys a gift and then someone else comes along and says, tell them it's from both of us.
Yeah?
Well, I invented that.
Jerry, I'll share my New Year's resolutions with you, but only if you promise to follow through on every one of them.
You've got it, Aaron.
Resolution number 2. I resolved to figure out new ways to make plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians more affordable for everyone.
Like how we give everyone $500 in free plumbing services whenever they buy a new water heater?
That's right, because every unexpected expense should be softened by an unexpected gift.
Like how we give people back all the money they paid us to repair their old HVAC system when they finally replace it with a new one?
That's right, up to $1,500.
We really care about people.
That's right, Jerry, and that's always resolution number 1.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Tito, doing the Bishop and Friends program yesterday with Joshua Perry, Olentangy's finest said more teams should be just outwardly tampering. And I agree with him.
Yes,
because everybody's doing it. I mean, you're going to find out over the next couple of days just how bad it's going to get for Ole Miss and LSU.
Right.
And like the Lane Kiffin divorce. Because it's already getting pretty ugly, where you don't know if assistants like Charlie Weiss Jr. are going to be able to coach for the Rebels in the playoff semifinal. And what if they make it to the national championship game?
I love the fact how much money he's making off of Ole Miss doing well.
And Louisiana's paying it.
Yeah, he got $500,000 for the last win. If they win again this week in the next game, he'll get $750,000. If they win the championship, he gets $1 million.
That Louisiana's paying.
LSU's got to pay him. Yes.
And I know that there was talk of him being at that quarterfinal game.
And he went to the women's game.
And then he went to the women's basketball game, and he's walking out there arm in arm with Kim Mulkey, who's another college football villain, or college sports villain, I should say. And they lose to Kentucky on a last-second shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty perfect. And then Ole Miss hangs on against Georgia. And in that, the biggest upset probably, well, what's a bigger upset? Ole Miss over Georgia, Miami over Ohio State?
I think Miami or Ohio State's a bigger upset.
I'm more upset at that.
Yeah. There we go. That's a bigger upset. Yes, that's an upsetting. It's a more upsetting loss. Yes,
and
that's for sure.
We'll have the first-round bye conversation a little bit later in the program. I think it's still there to have.
7 out of 8,
I'm more leaning towards it's an excuse. So again, conversation for later part of the program, because I wanted to say go get Chaz Coleman.
Okay,
if you're Ohio State, that's my top portal prospect, and tamper the hell out of Ole Miss, pay him $1 million for that kicker. He already transferred from Western Kentucky. You know he's open for business. You need a guy for Ohio State that is automatic from 50. I know a couple years ago with Ruggles, he was solid, but you questioned, could he make it from 50?
Yeah.
And was it the Peach Bowl?
Yes, I believe it was a Peach Bowl.
Gone 4 years at least for Ohio State without being automatic from 50.
Yeah.
And that's been the difference in several key contests. You've got to get a guy in today's college football that can at least, and you had the benefit for Ohio State of not having to worry about a kicker until you did. And then it bit you in the ass. And now Fielding's graduated, and the kicker they got out of the portal last season that you never gave a fair shot to, I don't think.
No, he's transferred.
Now he's in the portal.
Yeah. Or bring him back. And you make the joke about $1 million. I don't know what the price is for a kicker, but yes, they should go out.
Would you not think it's worth $1 million
right now? Yes, I would.
Against
before
Michigan,
the season, I would have said no, but now yes, I would say it's probably worth that. No, can we, based on what's going on with college basketball, can we see if Nuge has eligibility left? Maybe Nuge can come back.
Well, he played in the NFL, and I think that's the sticking point here, is if the player in question that was available for NBA contests played in an NBA game, it's done.
Yeah.
So that Nuge just played in NFL games, it's over. But if Nugent declares and gets drafted but doesn't play, because there was even some goofy talk about Shamar Stewart, right? Of if he wasn't happy with the Bengals, he'd just go back to College Station. It's like, how does that even work? To my earlier point about the process and all of this being clear as mud.
I made the argument, if he had the opportunity, do you think Shador would have said, you know what, I'm not happy being a fifth-round pick by the Browns. I'm going back to Colorado for a year. I'm not going to sign a contract.
If you'd have told him that he was going to be a fifth-round pick by the Cleveland Browns.
If he gets picked fifth-round, he says, you know what,
there was no way of knowing how that was going to go.
No, but I'm saying, like, if he could have done, if they had those kind of rules available, I think Shador goes back to Colorado.
Probably.
I think he says,
Dion wants to have him back, especially.
Absolutely, yes. But I think he would have done it.
Yeah. And who knows how the NCAA and how this is going to shake out with the Baylor player.
Yeah.
Because right now he's still eligible. But you had Charlie Baker come out and say, we're going to protect the great American institution of college basketball by not allowing this to happen. It's like, well, I don't think you have much of a case. They'll at least try to argue it in court.
Yeah, they will.
Which those lawyer fees, again. Is there any particular place that off? So I'd said Chaz Coleman, defensive end from Cleveland, played one season at Penn State. This is a guy I think should be highest on your list. I know they've got a Pickerington linebacker that's making a visit.
Rasheem Biles is what I'm looking at. Rasheem Biles, the kid from Pickerington, yes, who went to Pitt, right? Yes, he's the one.
He's a Pittsburgh linebacker.
He's a Pitt linebacker.
Top linebacker in the portal, if you ask some services.
Two-time All-ACC.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's somebody who I think with the fact that what they're going to lose on defense, he is, and I don't know how you do this, he's a 4-star transfer, according to 24/7 Sports. So I think that's somebody I would look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they've got a Gardner Webb edge who's making a visit. If it's not today, it was yesterday. And so I think this is just part of that process. But, for Ohio State, you've got to figure out what to do with Brian Hartline's job. Because it wasn't only a wide receivers coach. It wasn't only a star recruiter. But it was your offensive coordinator. And so...
Antonio O'Berry's a guy from Gardner Webb.
Okay.
Who's 6'6", 240, edge rusher.
Yeah, it looks like he had 10.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries this year.
You had me at 6'6", 240. The O-court position, yes, that's a big deal. I know they hired the receivers coach from LSU.
Cortez Hankton comes up from Baton Rouge.
And he was, I believe, a co-OC at LSU.
Yes, he's got passing game coordinator duties on his resume as well. And Tyler Bowen, that was similar when he came over from Virginia Tech.
Right.
I know Keenan Bailey was in the booth for the Cotton Bowl. Brian Hartline was on the field. This screams to me Ryan Day's calling the plays next year, though. And I don't love that.
I feel like he does.
I don't love that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Because I'll go to the bye conversation real quick, and then we'll have the greater expansion of it in the next hour.
All right.
It's about coaching. In the first round of the college football, in your first game of the college football playoffs, the better prepared team has the edge, and the team that makes the better adjustments wins. And for Ohio State and Miami, that was the case New Year's Eve. Miami was better prepared. Miami was better coached in that game.
What was different last year?
The coaching and the preparation.
Chip Kelly was calling the plays.
So,
okay,
Nate's got a great point. And now Chip Kelly's at Northwestern for some reason, and he brought over Neuheisel's kid for some reason.
Neuheisel's kid goes to be like a hotshot promotion kind of guy with what he did there to going back being a quarterback's coach at Northwestern.
I wonder, because Chip Kelly's I don't think Chip Kelly has any interest in developing players. Like, he's not a position coach.
Right.
I don't think he's got any interest in recruiting.
Nope.
And so maybe if he brings over Neuheisel's doing more of that.
Right.
And then he's sitting under the Chip Kelly learning tree, which is, we saw what Brian Hartline did last season, learning from Chip Kelly. The offense was great in 12 games this season.
Yes, it was. It is. I wonder, I'm with you on the Ryan Day thing. It feels like he will.
And I don't want to say Ryan Day don't know ball. That's just not true.
But why?
It's so difficult in college football today to be the CEO of a program with so many different responsibilities and then go over and say, I'm going to call the defense, or I'm going to call the offense.
Right. I also would say some new ideas need to be in that offensive room.
I would agree with that.
Everyone and their brother knew that bubble screen was coming on Wednesday.
That was such a slow developing play. I know you take the sack before it, and that throws your timing off.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody saw it coming. And the defensive back from Miami made such a great read on the play. And, I do think to that a lot, Nate, because that was the difference in who's playing in a college football semifinal. I think to Pete Golding, and if he's insistent on being the defensive coordinator at Ole Miss, they can't get that field goal situation right before the half. And they were able to hold on and win their quarterfinal game. But if you're the head coach and you also want to coordinate at half, you've got to figure out the defense and the offense you're coordinating to fix those issues. But if there's a glaring issue in the football game, I think a real head coach needs to tackle that issue. Hey, Joe Judge, why did that not happen properly? Why couldn't we get that figured out?
Right.
But if you're a coordinator, you've got to go and talk to your unit.
You want Brian Dable?
There's too many things to juggle.
You want Brian Dable?
I can't say no because of how much football he's coached, because of I think how well he did with Josh Allen in Buffalo. I think there maybe.
If you're going to hire an OC, give me somebody who's very, very proven, not the up-and-comer next year. I don't want a guy, it's like, oh, this guy was a great wide receivers coach. This guy was a really good quarterback whisperer. I don't want that. I want somebody who's been better than an OC at a different at any level. Like either an OC before at a Power 4 school, at a really good Power 4 school, or a head coach or an OC in the NFL. But give me some, I do not want, and no offense to Brian Hartline. Hartline was great. But Hartline was here for a long time.
He was.
And he knew the players very well. But don't give me an up-and-comer from another school who was going to be the first-time OC. I don't want that.
Doesn't feel like we're getting that either at Ohio State.
I know.
What he's done with this program has been incredible. What I think he will continue to do with the program has been incredible. But Ryan Day needs to be your CEO. He needs to be your program builder.
Yep.
The duties and responsibilities for an offensive coordinator, especially at this high of a level, with the expectation this team's going to have a 1 or a 2 next to it in the preseason top 25 when we get to it. You got Texas week 2. Those responsibilities for calling your offense need to be by one singular person with input from everybody, not the head coach, because I don't think it works anywhere. It's not just an Ohio State issue. The head coach needs to be the head coach, have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That's how I think the most successful teams will have it work.
Next season, much tougher schedule.
They're going to earn it. They
At
the
Texas,
college football playoff.
At Indiana, at USC, host Oregon, host Michigan.
Gosh, if Lincoln Riley didn't win that recruiting championship, he'd be a guy I'd be like, okay, if Lincoln Riley could come back, because Lincoln Riley just strikes me as lifetime great coordinator.
He'd be a great OC.
And Kevin Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, who knows? Zach Taylor may be available. You know what, Tito? I want to have the bye conversation with you in regards to the college football playoff coming up next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay, plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. You think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Get ready for the college football playoff with a $9.99 haircut coupon from Great Clips. Kick off your game day look with convenient online check-in in the Great Clips app. The skilled stylists at Great Clips salons will save your haircut details in clip notes. And with a $9.99 haircut coupon, you'll score elite savings too. Visit greatclips.com/football to get a $9.99 haircut coupon. But hurry, offer ends soon. Great Clips, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Valid only at participating U.S. salons. Terms apply.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, her little brother's belly laugh, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. It all connects. But at Child Fund, so do we, through everything we do, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
Join our resident gambling degenerates, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility.
The Fan.
Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Happy New Year, Reiser, Tito, Nate rolling along with you until noon today. We'll have college football semifinal games starting on Thursday with the Fiesta Bowl. Miami and Ole Miss. The Hurricanes are 3-point favorites in that one. Again, Miami is the lowest seeded team still currently alive in the CFP. Then on Friday at 7:30 of the Peach Bowl semifinal, Indiana is a 4.5-point favorite over Oregon. Tito, when I read you those lines right now, a 1 favorite over a 5, but a 10 favorite over a 6, I don't think the seeds matter anymore. I think you're most so looking at the teams and how they've performed and the talent on those respective teams. But it feels those both, I feel comfortable taking the favorite.
I do too. I'm with you on that. Yes. Based on what I saw in the quarterfinals, I think that's the right way to be on those. Yes. I think that those should be, will be, and should win as favorites.
And for the third year in a row, Big Ten teams playing for it all.
Yeah.
Someone told me that Paul Feinbaum had said if the Big Ten wins again, he's leaving the country. No, I don't. He's not going to do that. But I think there's a pretty good chance the Indiana Hoosiers are your national champions in the year 2026. Now they'll win the 2025 season, obviously, but the idea that they had never won the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
They win the Rose Bowl. That for the first time an offensive line was MVP. And Pat Coogan, think of the year that he's had playing for Notre Dame in the lead up, going all the way to the national championship, and then transferring to Indiana, staying in the state.
Right.
But going to what would have been the younger brother's younger brother for the, at least for the, or little brother's little brother,
right.
At least in the Hoosier state. When you talk about wins all time and program dominance all time, it's probably Notre Dame, it's probably Purdue, and then it's Indiana. But now it's all been flipped on its head because of Curt Cignetti.
It has been. He has changed the game. He has changed the way that that people are hired and the expectations when hired, and also expectations of established coaches.
Yep.
He's changed it all.
What hasn't changed is the success of Las Vegas. And usually you hear the phrase, the house always wins.
They do. Because
through 2 years, and the data is going to be funny with these because you're only going to get 2 years of 12-team data.
Right.
I think it's January 23rd is the soft date they have to come to an agreement on expanding the college football playoff. Now, I don't know if they'll do it by January 23rd, but they're expanding this thing for 2026. However, through what would it be? 4 quarterfinal games, which would be after the first round, because we're talking about the byes now. Vegas favorites are 6-2.
Straight up 6-2. Not covering spreads necessarily, but 6-2.
Last year, you had Notre Dame as a 1.5 underdog in their quarterfinal win against Georgia. Most would say that's a pick'em.
Sure.
This year, Ohio State was a 9.5-point favorite over Miami. Oh, I guess it would be 5-3 then, because Georgia was favored over Ole Miss.
Georgia favored Ole Miss.
But for the most part, Vegas got it right, especially last year, 3-1. Be 2-2 this season.
Mm-hmm. So
that tells me more than is a buy good or not, because Vegas is, I think, a little better than most at picking who the better team is, or at least who telling you who the better team is in this instance. Now, there are upsets everywhere, but I don't think having or not having the bye has been the difference.
See, the bye thing for me, it's weird because last year Ohio State had 21 days off. They had a bye because they didn't have to play in the Big Ten championship. Had a home game against Tennessee.
Oregon had a bye.
Yes, Oregon had a bye. Ohio State did have a bye last year. Oregon had a bye this year. It's interesting, though, to me that I don't think it's as simple as having the bye. It's what you do in that time off to get ready for the game. And it benefited Miami confidence-wise to get the win they got leading into the game against Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the idea that you want or don't want to buy is something that you'd have to have a conversation with in the season.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to tell Dan Lanning, well, you want the bye. No. So you're going to lose this one game in Indiana, so you don't have to play in the Big Ten championship.
Right.
Or tell Curt Cignetti, no, lose that game in Eugene, so you won't have to play in the Big Ten championship.
I do think there's a little difference between last year and this year in that, yes, Ohio State had 21 days off, but so did Tennessee, so you were both on equal grounds in terms of how long of your layoff was.
Okay.
Whereas in this year, Miami had played the week before Ohio State did, which brought them in with more
That's a good point.
Fresher.
I think to win in the college football playoff, you have to be the best. To win a game in the college football playoff, you have to be the team that has. Because the Boise State Penn State thing still lingers in my mind, and that's such a weird data point because Boise State really had no business in the college football getting a bye in the first round of the college football playoff. But it all comes down to me for coaching. I think that's the umbrella take that you could give to teams in the college football playoff, especially last year's run for Ohio State. They were well coached. They were well prepared. Teams like Tennessee and Oregon were not prepared for the Buckeyes. Now, Oregon made decent second half adjustments, but it was too little too late for the Ducks.
Sure.
Tennessee didn't know what the hell to do because all they had was Nico running around, and he wasn't even that great. He was just tough as hell.
We are so focusing on Ohio State's failures on offense against Miami. But I think I'm more disappointed in the defense.
I think I'm there with you, too.
I really thought
Sonny Styles getting run over, Caleb Downs not able to make tackles at the point of contact.
The way Miami ran the ball when they had to run the ball, Ohio State knew Miami was going to run the ball.
Over and through people.
How does that?
And
that's
Carson Beck converting on third downs late.
I know.
Chad Henne in 2013. I got to deal with this again.
That's right. That's
people
a good
were laughing at Carson Beck after the Louisville game. He threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
The idea going into the Cotton Bowl was if you make them chase you, that you're going to get that Carson Beck.
Right.
Now, Carson Beck wasn't great, but he was as good as they needed him to be because they called plays that suited his strengths.
That interception, that's 7 against the offense, not holding that against Patricia and the guys.
I will not either.
But Miami, I did not think would score 17 on Ohio State coming in.
Yeah.
And I really thought Matt Patricia would have a game plan and had the talent to make it really uncomfortable for Miami. And like you said, when everyone knew Miami's going to run the ball on this play because they're trying to keep the clock running, that they need to get a first down, but they're trying to keep the clock moving. Everyone knew they're going to run the ball, and Ohio State couldn't stop them.
And yes, you did get an incredible play by Caleb to punch the ball out of Malachi Tony's hands, and it bounces twice on the field and then back up into his arms.
Yes, I know.
And you had an offsides play that you really wanted back. I understand how Ohio State fans feel with this, but you got out-coached and you got out-toughed.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that Ohio State overall is soft.
Right.
But in that game, the tougher team won.
Yeah.
I will say, push back a little bit on the defense where Ohio State only had 3 possessions in the second half. The first 3 possessions the defense was on the field, they got off the field.
Yeah.
They gave them with 10 minutes left in the game. We got our 3 and out, go score, and the offense did nothing with it.
It's valid. I'm with you, Tito, that I'm just disappointed in when you needed something. The defense was always there for you in the regular season. You put them in bad spots.
Yep.
Always had the defense to just kind of bail you out. And they couldn't get it back to you one more time. I mean, they did, but the game was in hand at that point. When you needed it, it couldn't come up. And the offense, when you needed something from the offense, it's the type of loss that makes you reevaluate what you saw during the entire regular season. Sure does.
Like we were talking about the defense now. Like Arvell Reese, we saw his numbers decline towards the back end of the year. Like, was that because they were scheming differently, or was it because Arvell Reese was suddenly going up against good offensive lines? It's that type of reevaluation,
and it's both.
Yeah,
I go back to coaching and having your team prepared and then making the proper adjustments, not just at the half, but on the fly.
Yeah.
Miami did that. Miami was better prepared. Miami made better adjustments, even in that third quarter when Ohio State was moving on them. It was great to see Ohio State kind of go quickly in tempo because you had those 2 pass rushers for Miami that needed to take breathers. You can't bull rush for 4 quarters in football at the same level.
Right.
Like Ruben Bain can't do what he does for 4 quarters. So I would hope Ole Miss watched that and said, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
You also got to have another incredible game out of Chambliss to advance to the College Football National Championship. It's the final week of the NFL's regular season. We'll get into some, I think, deserved heat on all of the seats in the AFC North. That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan.
Hey, Aaron, what New Year's resolutions are you and I making this year?
Are you saying that I'm supposed to make New Year's resolutions for both of us?
Aaron, you know that thing where someone buys a gift and then someone else comes along and says, tell them it's from both of us.
Yeah?
Well, I invented that.
Jerry, I'll share my New Year's resolutions with you, but only if you promise to follow through on every one of them.
You've got it, Aaron.
Resolution number 2. I resolved to figure out new ways to make plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians more affordable for everyone.
Like how we give everyone $500 in free plumbing services whenever they buy a new water heater?
That's right, because every unexpected expense should be softened by an unexpected gift.
Like how we give people back all the money they paid us to repair their old HVAC system when they finally replace it with a new one?
That's right, up to $1,500.
We really care about people.
That's right, Jerry, and that's always resolution number 1.
Get Eco.
ECO. My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Nate Puderbaugh with your sports update. Good start to January for the men's Ohio State basketball team. They went on the road last night to Rutgers and came back from a 15-point deficit to win 80-73. Bruce Orton finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds, while Devin Royal added 16 points in the win. They return home Monday night to take on the number 13 Nebraska. Afternoon hockey for the CBJ. They're at home at Nationwide Arena to take on the Buffalo Sabres. The Jackets sit 6 points back of the Sabres at the playoff standings. Cover starts at 2:30 right here on The Fan. Afternoon football sees Carolina heading to Tampa Bay at 4:30. In the nightcap, Seattle heads to San Francisco with the top seed in the NFC on the line. A win would give Seattle its first conference title since 2020. And the Browns and Bengals finish off their regular season tomorrow. They square off in Cincinnati at 1 o'clock. Catch the action right here on The Fan. Bringing sports news and what happens to the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
I was seeing this on Twitter from the Blue Jackets. So Mason Marchment, who was acquired last month, in his first 5 games with the CBJ, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists, and 6 points.
Not bad.
So it's, I think, one of the things that almost exactly what the Blue Jackets need. They're getting Zach Werenski back today against the Buffalo Sabres. You start to take steps in the right direction. Maybe you find yourself in a wild card spot at the end of the season. But these games for the Jackets, Penguins tomorrow, Sabres today, you're looking up at them in the wild card race. Must not lose. Must get points in them. You'd like to see wins. But pregame coverage for both of those, 2:30 Saturday and Sunday. You heard Nate with the Cleveland Browns. We'll hear from Myles Garrett coming up in a little bit, talking about his position with the organization's a very interesting one, considering where the organization is right now and where it could go in the next month or so. You know, Browns-Bengals pregame coverage over on the Fan, too. It's 1460 on the AM dial at 11 o'clock. Blue Jackets hockey is going to bump the Battle of Ohio over to 1460 on the AM dial. All 4 coaches, Stefanski, Zach Taylor, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, all have heat.
Yeah.
At varying degrees on their seats. And I wonder, Tito, for tomorrow's game between the Browns and the Bengals, I don't think that really has anything to do with the futures of both of those coaches. Now, if one gets blown out, I think that just expedites the decision maybe for Zach Taylor. But I just have this sneaking suspicion that the Browns are going to roll with Stefanski next year. And they're going to keep everything the same.
I think so, too. I think that he sticks. Zach Taylor sticks.
Boy, that would be really tough for me. I said at the beginning of the year, if the Bengals don't make the playoffs, that's on Zach. Because you can't fire Al Golden. You fired Lou Anarumo last year. And as bad as the defense played, I don't know if it was on Sweet Lou. I don't know if it's on Al Golden. You gotta hit better with your players. I think that goes to Duke Tobin and trying to select better defensively.
Right.
They've taken swings at offensive tackles. They've taken swings at defensive help. And those just haven't worked out for them. I don't know if I put that on. I didn't put it on Lou. I don't know if I put it on Golden. But Joe Burrow had demands from the organization, and they gave into his demands.
You wonder at what point do you make it. The injury excuses shouldn't happen. But look, the fact you lost Burrow
Go ahead.
You lost Burrow for a long time. I don't know if any other team will be in the playoffs losing their quarterback for as long as the Bengals did. I know that the 49ers lost Purdy for a while. I don't know if it was that long, though. I don't know if anybody else lost
Well, I think for the 49ers, they didn't lose Purdy for the length of time as Burrow, but Purdy didn't need to get surgery, and they had a competent backup. That team's just better coached, is what I think, with the 49ers and the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Niners just better coached.
Better coached. That's
the 49ers are going to go into the playoffs, and they don't have a pass rush.
No.
They're in the bottom of the league in sacks, but Purdy's healthy, making moves out there like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And they're better coached than the Bengals. I think it just goes back to the coaching. Because, yes, the quarterback's huge. I don't want to downplay Joe Burrow and his turf toe. But if you have a competent backup, I think you're still able to make it a competitive stretch. And they were with Flacco for a little bit.
They were with Flacco for a little bit. Yes, they were. It's, but I just knowing the way the Bengals kept Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, they did. They sure did.
Years of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Would you say the Bengals are mediocre right now or bad?
Mediocre.
I think I'd say they're mediocre.
I don't think you can ever be bad with a healthy Joe Burrow.
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Right. I don't think you're ever bad. I think you're mediocre.
Yeah.
And they've already shown, they have a history of saying, you know what? We're okay with mediocre.
There are 2 years left on Mike Brown's contract, or on Zach Taylor's contract. Mike Brown is not paying out for 2 coaches.
I think you're probably right.
That's a shame. Because that to me, I mean, the 49ers are the perfect example.
Yeah.
Like the Bengals don't have talent. For the Sunday night game, 8:20, Ravens Steelers. Lamar Jackson says he's 100% good to go. So you'll
well, he says he's 100% going to play. Did he say he's 100% good to go?
He says he's 100% going to play.
100% healthy. I know. I don't think he's 100%
Semantics.
healthy. I know. I'm just saying. I don't like, because I want to make sure that
he's going to play.
He's 100% going to play. Yes.
I think that makes a huge difference.
To be fair, no one's 100% healthy in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, nobody's 100% healthy ever.
Yeah, right.
I don't. As a Browns fan, it's tough for me to understand the heat on the seats of John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, because I want so bad for the Cleveland Browns to have the success that the Pittsburgh Steelers and that the Baltimore Ravens had under their respective coaches. But I do go back to the James Franklin thing and say at some point, if a coach has been at a place for so long, I think it's just better for everybody to go into another direction. I think that about Stefanski and the Browns. It's just right now better that if the Steelers don't make it into the playoffs, it might just be time. And similarly for the Ravens, because winners going in, because you're AFC North champion.
Right.
But they're not going to do much in the postseason.
Right.
Because I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah, you're right. There's a point where it might get stale, and the message is no longer being heard.
Because you're a Steelers fan, so I'm going to put this to you. If you could have, say, Pittsburgh wins, regardless of the outcome, let me just do this.
Okay.
Would you rather have back next year Mike Tomlin as your coach or Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback?
Tomlin's my coach. I would have Tomlin back. Rodgers played great this year. Great. He's played very good this year.
Yes. Very good is the right phrase.
Yes. Great was a little extreme there. I'd rather have Tomlin back. I love the fact that Pittsburgh's had 3 coaches since 1969. Love that. For all the Browns quarterback jersey you want to have with all the names on it, do the same thing with coaches. How many coaches they had since 99? You know what I mean? It's not as long of a list as quarterbacks. I get it, but they've had quite a few. And I wish the Steelers made, if you look at the way Steelers in the last, since Roethlisberger, look at how many bad choices they made with quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like the guys who started after Roethlisberger. Yes, every one of them. Every single one's been a bad choice. Pickett, Rudolph. The whole disaster last year with Big Game Russ. And, they didn't really give Justin Fields a chance, I didn't think. But like all these different quarterbacks they've cycled through since Roethlisberger, they have not made a good choice at quarterback yet. Rodgers has been the best one. And so I want Tomlin, and I either want Rodgers back or a better decision or make a good decision when it comes to who the quarterback's going to be in 2026.
For the Ravens, I think the same thing, right? You're obviously going to have Lamar Jackson back.
Sure.
But I'd almost ask Ravens fans, who would you rather have back in 2026, John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson? Because if the Ravens can't win in this window,
right,
I said this last year for Baltimore. That was your time. That was the perfect opportunity you had for Baltimore. And Mark Andrews drops a pass in the end zone. They aren't able to advance to the AFC Championship. And you come into this year, and your biggest story is removing ping pong tables from the locker room. I say that in jest because it's been all over the place for Baltimore. Maybe signaling a time to break this up.
Well, Derrick Henry will not be as good next year as he was this year.
I said that last year.
We've said that for like 5 years now.
He's the wild.
Starting now, though. I'm telling you now.
He's a wild card in this.
I know. Yeah. But I said Saquon Barkley last year. That was the best year of his career. Won't be anywhere close to that this year. I was right on that one. I've been wrong on Henry. Absolutely, yes. I've been wrong right on Barkley. Wrong on Henry.
Miss a take, hit a take. Miss a take. If you're batting 500, I guess you're an all-star.
That's what Hall of Famer.
So congratulations.
Thank you. But I feel very confident that Henry won't be as good going forward as he was this year. And Lamar Jackson, the injury thing is real with him. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say what I wonder with coaches, because the pool seems to be very shallow in terms of coaching candidates. Like, who are you going to get if you're Baltimore? Who are you going to get if you're Pittsburgh?
Right.
Yeah. Because the college ranks, you're not pulling somebody from there just yet. And we'll get to the Marcus Freeman thing in a second. But what? Jeff Hafley?
I can't believe Hafley. After,
if that's one of your sexier names in terms of coaches in waiting, I know even Myles Garrett was asked yesterday about Jim Schwartz, who still wants to be a head coach in the league. We've seen it before. So
Hafley,
you can get another quarterback,
right,
pretty quickly. There'll be some great names available in free agency. I want the Browns to go get Mac Jones. I don't know about Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, but in 2027, we think is going to be a pretty decent class. That's an easier flip for an NFL organization with a proven head coach than it is to get a new head coach to try to deal with a veteran-type quarterback.
When you look at it, like, what would you, if you're an organization, would you rather, it's a huge risk to look at Penix, look at what J.J. McCarthy's done. Mm-hmm. It is a great benefit to have a starting quarterback on a rookie contract, a competent starting quarterback. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. It's great to have Bo Nix, someone like that on their rookie contract. It's also disastrous if that's your starting quarterback and he sucks. So would you rather take a swing and a miss with a top 10 pick on a quarterback, or get somebody who's already shown he could, Sam Darnold, who's shown he can do it? I'd rather that option too.
However, not everybody's Sam Darnold.
No, they're not. You're still taking a chance on that one. But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at the teams, though, like, I would rather do the latter as well. I'd rather invest money in somebody who's already proven.
The Browns invested a ton of money into Myles Garrett. How do we think that investment is going to pay off? And then the Marcus Freeman NFL conversation will be had coming up next at Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
At ADP, we know you want your landscape business to succeed, but we don't know anything about landscaping. ADP only knows how to handle the business of your small business. So if ADP focuses on the payroll and the HR, while you focus on the land and the scaping, success should follow. Just don't expect us to know all about Kentucky bluegrass, zero-turn cutting, or what to do with a woodchuck. That's for you to figure out. Let ADP help your small business focus on the part of the business you're good at. ADP for small business.
Save big money on your interior stains and finishes now at Menards. Minwax Polyacrylic Max is a fast-drying water-based polyurethane that provides maximum durability in one coat for all types of wood surfaces. Get a quart of Minwax Polyacrylic Max on sale now through January 10th. Save big on Minwax wood stains. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay, plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to the fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app, TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking mostly cloudy skies here for your Saturday with high temperatures around 29 here this afternoon. Winds will be fairly light out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine, and highs are back into the lower 30s. But we are looking ahead to a warm-up here as we head through the week. Highs are in the 40s on Monday, but all the way to the 50s here as we head towards the middle to end of the work week. But also looking ahead to some rain here by Tuesday, and likely some more rain on Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
In about 10 minutes, we'll get Tyler Danberg from the Ohio State Sports Network on with Tito, Reiser, Nate. Tyler was on the sidelines for the Cotton Bowl, the Ohio State Sports Network. He's also been privy to, I think, a really good start to the season for Kevin McGuff and the Ohio State women's squad. They're ranked in the top 20 of the AP top 25, and they've got a game against Rutgers on Sunday.
Are we going to talk to him about, let's just do the whole thing about women's basketball? I don't think I want to talk about the game some more.
We could do some on that, but he was eyes on the whole thing Wednesday in the Cotton Bowl. And so that's where I'm interested in. But if you want to go, if you want to lean more, because I'll get the first question. You go, I go, you go, I go, you go.
We'll do, yeah.
How we can, ping pong that back and forth. So wherever you want to go with it is up to you.
I
understand. I look, however you're feeling right now as Ohio State fans, I get it. You're allowed to feel that way.
How tough was your show the day after?
I don't think it was tough.
Okay.
Because I come off it disappointed.
Okay.
I'm really disappointed in how that game went, but I wasn't angry, and I wasn't sad. I was just like that. You get a couple weeks off, and you give us that performance, guys, with inabilities to adjust,
right?
Inabilities to say, hey, there's number 4. Now he's on the right side. That's where I come off. I don't know, Nate. How are you feeling right now?
It's weird for me because I haven't been on air at all since it happened. So I've just been stewing in it for 3 days. And now that I'm on, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it in a lot of ways. It's like I've just been sitting in it for 3 days, being angry and annoyed that everything happened.
Annoyed's I think a good emotion too with it, because they're better than that. So it's annoying because now Miami fan gets to come out of the woodwork for the first time in 20 years and go, you back, baby.
It's annoying because I know they're better than that. And then at the same time, because of the way it happened, I don't know that they're better than that.
I think the Big Ten championship gives me pause. Right?
Yeah, that combined with the Big Ten championship.
Because then you look at Indiana and you go, well, how good are the Hoosiers?
Yeah, then you have to reevaluate.
They just did to Alabama.
Then you have to reevaluate the rest of the season. Like, okay, the only thing they really did of note was beat the 6th best SEC team by 7 in a rookie quarterback's first game. And that's kind of all they did.
I'm trying to think in my own mind, am I more upset or annoyed that Ohio State lost that game and their season's over, or that I was so damn wrong about the game?
What'd you have it?
Ohio State by double digits.
I had 31-13.
I had Ohio State 17-7.
I think I had 27-17 if I was right. But so not just the fact that publicly, and I'll do air quotes, professionally, that was my take, but also watching the game that night at a friend's house, had a party, and you've got there were probably 50 people there, and hanging out with the dads. And we're watching it. And not that they expect me to know, but they kind of figure, oh, you're in sports, you're on the radio, you must know,
suckers.
I know. And so I'm telling them.
Fools.
At halftime, we had to leave at halftime because I had to do a show the next morning at 6, but I went home and watched it. But nonetheless, I'm leaving and said, look, I'm not worried about this. Ohio State's going to make adjustments. They're going to win this game. They're going to win in the second half. Watch what Matt Patricia does. And watch what this offense does, making adjustments.
Third quarter, you were right.
I was right until I wasn't.
So you wasn't.
It's like I spent 3 weeks hearing people oh my God, the Miami defense is unlike anything anyone's ever seen. They gave up 27 to SMU. They gave up over 20 to Florida State. They lost to Louisville. They barely, beat an A&M team that didn't beat anyone throughout the entire season. I spent the whole week going, what are we talking about with the greatness of Miami? They didn't even make their own conference title game. In a bad conference.
Did you see what the ACC did, though? The $14 million they're getting for the CFP payout is all going to Miami.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're not giving Duke a single dime.
Good for them.
And I agree with that move.
Me too.
Because you do need to placate the U when the contract comes up and you're trying to keep the ACC together. You do whatever you can.
Do we have, because you watch on the sidelines, you see Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis.
See, that's a question you could have for Tyler.
No, I'm not.
Did you party with Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis after the game?
Was he worried anyone was going to get stabbed?
Does Ohio State have a Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis type that they could have on the sidelines also doing that?
Get Bob?
I don't think Carp would be Ray Lewis. I think Carp's, because Ray Lewis isn't the media. I think Carp would have some.
Is Bob ripping his belt off and whipping something on the sidelines?
Could we get him to do that?
I think Schlegels would do it.
Schlegels would do it, yeah.
Okay, let's put Schlegels out there. We need to have another guy, though, a outgoing. Is it Chris Carter? An outgoing kind of personality, wide receiver or offensive type? Because it's not Krenzel. It's not Clarett.
This is such a different culture.
I know.
All time at Ohio State and the culture at Miami. So I don't think there is anybody. And if there is, I don't think Ohio State would want them. Because the thing with Ohio State being a blue blood of the sport, and you can't say Miami is anymore. I think of Joshua Perry made such a great point yesterday with Curt Cignetti. Ohio State would never hire Curt Cignetti. Michigan would never hire Curt Cignetti. Only Indiana would hire a guy like Curt Cignetti.
Right.
But Ohio State and Michigan should.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's just such a difference in how those operations go. So where at Miami, especially back in the 80s.
Yeah, you're right.
You had guys like Michael Irvin and you had guys like Ray Lewis that gravitated towards that kind of culture. It's never been around up here. And in Ohio and South Florida, very different places. I don't think I need to tell anybody that.
Give me Ted Ginn and Schlegels.
Okay.
Let's do that. Next year in the playoffs, they're on the sidelines.
What? Ted Ginn doing something with Lieutenant Governor?
Ted Ginn's the new head coach of the Columbus Aviators.
He sure is. Get ready to fly.
Yes.
I don't know if that's their tagline.
But it should be, right?
It's decent, right?
I think it's good, yeah.
Okay. With a loss like the Cotton Bowl, again, Tyler Danberg coming up in a couple of minutes, you have you knew there was going to be portal attrition. You knew there were going to be players on the roster, probably not starters for next season,
right?
But guys who are looking to play. I mean, I think Lincoln Keenholz said it the best, is where he's at Ohio State to go to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
To go to the NFL, you got to play on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he is among now 14 Buckeyes that are in the transfer portal. The most recent portal person, freshman lineman Devontae Armstrong. I don't know if his brother has entered the transfer portal yet, but I think those two were very big signees together coming out of Toledo.
Yep, I think you're right.
Nick McLarty entered the transfer portal on Friday. Jackson Corville entered the transfer portal. So Ohio State is without a kicker. Jaden Fielding has used all of his collegiate eligibility.
Been without a kicker for a while, but that's fine. That's
without a person in that room that can kick.
Still,
that's a problem, right? And it's been a problem on the field. Now it's a problem in your room because you have one without. I think they offered a kicker in the class of 2026, but he's a freshman. So I think defensive line, offensive line, kicker are your three must-gets for the transfer portal.
On the note of the kicker, is it finally time Ryan Day bites the bullet and actually gets a special teams coach? They've not been good at all under him.
Kerry Combs.
Was he going to be retained by Michigan?
Isn't that funny?
It seems like he would fit really well with Whittingham, but Nate, you're right. It's been an issue. The special teams thing.
We had a crappy punt in the game. We had someone take the ball out from the back of the end zone and get tackled at the 15.
I forget about that offside. That's 20-yard penalty. You absolutely cannot have. Again, coaching.
Give me
coaching
anybody,
and preparedness.
Anybody. I don't care if they're related to him. Just give me a special teams coach. Find one with the last name Tressel. I don't care if it's Jim, Mike, Logan, Ronnie, Nick. Find me a Tressel somewhere. I will all of a sudden have more confidence. If you give me anybody, honestly, I don't care if it's Johnny Tressel from California. Just give me a guy with the last name Tressel. I'll have more confidence right now in special teams.
Mind-boggling a place like Ohio State is special teams issues. And they shouldn't. I mean, the kicker,
it's been that way every year Ryan Day's been the head coach.
And the kicker from Ole Miss comes from Western Kentucky, and he's cranking out 55-yard field goals that could have been good from maybe 65.
Yeah. I know.
Mind-boggling that they've dealt with this.
We've had at least, 5 games decided by a bad field goal?
That's worth more than $1 million. Yeah. I think so. Whatever you want to do in terms of a portal evaluation or a portal NIL money valuation, the special teams fixes, I do think need to come from there. You got to get experienced guys. And I think, Nate, to your point, maybe an actual designated coach, although I'm not sure, with the new wide receivers coach coming up from LSU, where they stand. I think you can have as many coaches plus analysts plus assistants as you want, but that's several issues that need to be fixed. We'll go over the Cotton Bowl calamity and what's next for Ohio State, as well as Kevin McGuff's Ohio State women's basketball program with Tyler Danberg coming up in 2 minutes. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are. Reiser, Tito, Nate, rolling with you until noon today. 9 to noon next week, the spectacular, and then time TBD for the third week in January.
Staff TBD.
2026. But welcome. Happy New Year. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and speak with a man who was boots on the ground in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, spent his New Year's Eve there. He is Tyler Danberg of the Ohio State Sports Network. Tyler, Happy New Year. Thanks for giving us the time, bud. From your vantage point, how freaky was it to watch Ruben Bain?
Well, first off, Happy New Year, guys. Very, very freaky because he's just an incredibly toolsy athlete, wreaking havoc into the backfield that entire game. Him and Akeem Mesidor, those two are a really good tandem. We saw some great defensive end tandems go at it in Mesidor, Bain, and then Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson. And he's going to be playing on Sundays for a very long time, Ruben Bain.
Tyler, it felt like just watching the game that Ohio State was trying a couple of things to mitigate the disaster that came off of the edges for Miami and then even stunted on the same side. What was it like for the players and the coaches on the sideline as the offense was coming off the field several times during that first half and fourth quarter?
Yeah, very quickly there were some frustrations, and rightfully so. But it never got too out of hand. It was healthy frustration, at least from what we could observe. But I think it was after that second drive, guys, where the frustration started to build. Ryan Day, who, of course, this was his first game back, having that final say and making the play call, his first game back as play caller, he was a little bit more involved with his guys instead of being more towards the sideline as the CEO. But it was after that second drive where he started to come over. He talked to the running backs, talked to the tight ends. I remember hearing him, tell the running backs, we got to finish runs, got to explode, run downhill, especially on small yardage gains of second and short, third and short, and just finishing off those 3+ yard runs. But I think it was after the pick six, the Keontae Scott pick six. I remember very vividly Jeremiah Smith coming over, and he slammed his helmet out of frustration. And you could tell that's where the frustration started to set in. But if there's one thing that we learned about Jeremiah Smith, it's that he doesn't let that frustration take him over, because he had one of the better games of his career and an illustrious career at that. But I think it was after that second possession where the frustrations certainly were there, but in that third quarter, they could feel the momentum, and they fed off that, played off that momentum until Miami was ultimately able to get that 10-plus play drive and really ice the game late in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, as we're watching that 10-plus play drive, like you just mentioned, I had a I think I had a look of disbelief. I wasn't looking in the mirror, but I think I had a look of disbelief. Do you think Ohio State was surprised at how good Miami was?
That's a really good point, Tito. I hadn't really thought of that. Maybe there was a little bit of that surprise. And now they acknowledged throughout the week and the last few weeks how good Miami is, how talented they are as well. Maybe there's a bit of a shock at how they executed and came to play, just because, I mean, you lose to Louisville and SMU, and those aren't the most quality of losses. Or, and I think that beating Notre Dame, a lot has happened since then. Maybe maybe Miami felt more of a disrespect from the outside noise rather than Ohio State surprised or playing down to Miami. At least that's what we could probably gauge. But certainly there might have been a little bit of a shock, and there certainly was a lot of shock and disappointment by the time 000s hit the clock.
Tyler Danberg is our guest. He sidelines on the Ohio State Sports Network, as well as play-by-play for Ohio State women's basketball. Tyler, just after the game goes final and you're able to kind of follow this team into the locker room, just give us a sense from your vantage point how things were between the guys who that was their final game in college and guys who knew that they have plenty more to play for in their future careers with the Buckeyes.
I'm glad you brought that up, Eric, because it was a big blend of both. Because in the post game locker room setup, the breakout interview room, we got the chance to talk to many different guys. You've got your senior leadership in Caden Curry and Sonny Styles, and although he wasn't a captain, a true leader in every sense of the word, and Carson Hinsman, the center. A lot of guys who may or may not have played their last game as a Buckeye spoke. And you could hear how dejected they were. You could hear how reflective they were. I think they know that they do have to face the music in settings like these, and for what could be a very vulnerable setting, they handle themselves incredibly well, like leaders. And it was also really powerful to hear safety Jalen McClain, linebacker Peyton Pierce, who had elevated roles this year, especially Pierce throughout the year, and having the forced fumble and fumble recovery, the Pierce punch, as people some are calling it. But I think it was fun to hear what those guys had to say, because they talked about how much these seniors meant. And it's interesting when you look back at what was happening heading into the year, with a team that lost 14 guys to the NFL draft and lost so much senior leadership coming off a national championship season, there were so many question marks of who is going to assume those leadership roles and be that vocal presence in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And fast forward to, although maybe a bit of an earlier exit, it's early January, and to hear these underclassmen talk about how much these seniors meant to them, how much they helped them this year, and to hear that it's not just within the position groups as well. Jalen McClain, yeah, he talked about Caleb Downs, and rightfully so, but he also was talking about how Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles helped them as leaders, and I think that's what the Ohio State defense is all about. I remember asking Jalen McClain about, what do you want people to remember about this Ohio State defense? And it's exactly that, how complete they were, how much they came together, how close they were off the field. And although they weren't able to get the job done, I think there's a lot of things that we're going to remember about the first year of Matt Patricia's defense.
Tyler, I'm not a big believer in superstition. I certainly don't start rumors, but I want you to understand that since you took over as sideline reporter, Ohio State's never won a playoff game. But let's switch gears a little bit. What's impressed you the most about Ohio State's women's basketball team so far?
I think it's the depth. They have 11 players on the roster, Tito, and it's been a little bit of a smaller roster in size, but Kevin McGuff said coming into the year that they're going to probably need all 11. And the front court, I think specifically, has been so impressive. Kylie Kitts is a redshirt freshman. She graduated early in high school. She reclassified to redshirt last year at Florida. Just learn the game, learn the college game. Her sister Chloe's an All-American at South Carolina, so that she's got basketball in the blood. And she's only played now 14 college games, but she's their leading rebounder. She's got 17 blocks this year. She's scoring the ball, shooting a little bit more efficiently. And also Lemila, she came in last year. She was a key reserve, played exclusively off the bench, started the first 3 games this year, then missed a game due to injury, came back and played 9 straight off the bench. And then she got the start against UCLA last Sunday because they need more size in the starting lineup to combat that UCLA front court. And she played great. She's got 11 blocks in her last 3 games, and she's also averaging 12 points and 5 rebounds in that span. And the other thing, too, guys, is, and for those that are listening that may not know about Ohio State women's basketball but should, they're never out of a game. And you guys know this because of their style of play, and Nate knows this as well from doing all the women's basketball games. They're never out of a game, and that's what's so much fun. They can erase a 16-point deficit in 3 minutes, and that's what makes this team so gritty and so much fun.
The 19th ranked Ohio State women's squad is back in action tomorrow, hosting Rutgers at 2 o'clock. Our guest, Tyler Danberg, is going to have the call with coverage over on the Fan 2. Again, that's 1460 on the AM dial. Tyler, before we let you go, one question about the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. Did you get a chance from any point in the game to see or look at, how close were you to Michael Irvin?
on the opposite sideline, but it was hard to take one look at him because he's everywhere. But you knew who it was when you looked at that white long sleeve T-shirt with the Miami. It's got kind of a Miami logo style to it. I mean, you knew where Michael Irvin was at all times, and you knew where Ray Lewis was at all times as well. It was certainly fun to kind of play Where's Irvin on the opposite sideline.
Tito and I were trying to think of an Ohio State equivalent to Michael Irvin, and I don't think there exists one even for the Buckeyes. And there's so many other schools out there that you just don't have an equivalent of that guy. I mean, he's kneeling next to the coach during big play. Anybody gets that kind of access. But Tyler, we've been thrilled to kind of follow along on your first year with the Ohio State football team, and we're thrilled to have you part of our team and excited for your call tomorrow as the women's basketball team takes on Rutgers. Thanks so much for the time you've given us. It's been a pleasure on this end.
It has been an absolute pleasure on this end as well. Thank you guys so much for having me all year. It really means a lot.
And Tyler's joined us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. What'd you have for him?
No, that's all.
You look like you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say.
Tyler, I know when Tito's got something, and I can never tell if it's suitable for air.
The way you said it, though, you sounded like we're never going to have him on again. Like this was his farewell.
This isn't his farewell.
I know, but that's the way it came. No, you said, hey, it's been great having you on. You've been wonderful. We're glad you're part of the team.
Putting a bow on the season,
I understand you're doing
bud.
that. It sounds like you're putting a bow on his career, though, on us on Fan Sports Saturday. I want you back, Tyler. If I ever say you're back, regardless of what Reiser wants, I want you back next Saturday.
Well, thank you, Tito. By the way, follow-up question for you guys, because you guys have asked all the questions, and I appreciate it so much. What's the latest you can wish somebody a Happy New Year?
I think we just did.
I think the first time you see them in the new year.
You can do it.
Yeah.
But if you see them in February, you can't do it
then.
then.
The first time you see them in January is fair.
So January 30th.
I think you can, if it's within reason.
Okay, he's asking what's within reason. I think January. I think the first week in January. I think after that.
I'll go January 20th.
Oh, wow. He's going to.
What about you, Tyler?
I think the 10th is the cutoff, but 20th, I'm open to it.
I do want to tell you this. Happy Thanksgiving.
Is that an early Happy Thanksgiving, or is that a...
We're just going to leave it at that. We're just going to let it hang out there.
All right, we're going to let Tyler go. I do have an interesting Ohio State question when it comes to would you rather a national championship or the Michigan win? And I think the context, much like the Happy New Year question, is important in what we're about to discuss next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
They say glory is earned, not given. We say it's ignited by heart and ends with a boom. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Leaky pipes, no hot water, issues with your sewer or drains? When plumbing problems strike, Logan Services is ready to help you out. We offer free estimates on water heaters, water softeners, and drain lines. Whether it's a surprise leak or an aging water tank, we'll give you an honest recommendation so you can take action fast. Don't wait. Schedule your free plumbing estimate now. Fast, friendly service you trust from Logan Services.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
I lost count of how many foster homes I lived in. 20, maybe more. Each time, a new family, a new room, but never a space that felt like mine.
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a permanent home.
Now I have my own room and decorated it myself. And just like my family, it's mine to keep.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Day one, the hardest day. The day you hear,
This is a type of blood cancer.
at the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
At ADP, we know you want your landscape business to succeed, but we don't know anything about landscaping. ADP only knows how to handle the business of your small business. So if ADP focuses on the payroll and the HR, while you focus on the land and the scaping, success should follow. Just don't expect us to know all about Kentucky bluegrass, zero-turn cutting, or what to do with a woodchuck. That's for you to figure out. Let ADP help your small business focus on the part of the business you're good at. ADP for small business.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Buffalo Sabres. Live fan coverage starts Saturday afternoon at 2:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Reiser and Tito with you on the first Saturday in 2026. And Tyler Danberg, who we had on in our last segment, that came at me like that was surprising. The way he ended that interview with that question.
Yes.
About when's it late to say Happy New Year to somebody.
Right.
When's the cutoff? I think context is important in my answer because I do think if it's the first time you're seeing somebody in the new year, say it is January 20th.
Okay.
If you haven't seen them since the year turned over, you're going to say, how are you? How's the new year been? Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the same as saying Happy New Year.
Yeah, there was the episode in Seinfeld when they said if they don't say hello when you come into the bank, you get a free $25 or something. And they said, how are you?
It's a hell of a job by Tyler because not only did he provide great perspective from the Cotton Bowl, great preview of Ohio State women's basketball team, but a radio topic that can go across any format.
Yeah.
Like that, top 40, music, country music, political talk, us honking on sports talk radio. When's the latest time you can say Happy New Year to someone? I mean, that's 821-9710. We're not going to open the phones for
Wait, you just gave out the number.
No, we're not going to take calls. Baker and Scotty will do that tomorrow at 8 in the morning.
There we go.
I'll pass along the question to them so they can talk about it tomorrow.
See, it really is a great January, February topic.
And it's a great way for Tyler to end his career on Fan Sports Saturday.
It's not ending his career.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
is very important, I think, in this next question because the regular season, 12-0 for Ohio State. You lose the Big Ten championship, you lose the Cotton Bowl, you're out of the college football playoff. I wouldn't call this season a failure. I would say the regular season was a wild success, a disappointing way to end the season, but not a total failure. I lean on the fact that you beat Michigan and you ended a 4-year slide. Going into 2025, I said the one thing Ohio State needs to do before I listed any other accomplishments, they have to beat Michigan. Then, of course, win the Big Ten, win the national or repeat as national champions. Okay. Those follow. And what I think's been gotten lost in the sauce the last couple of days is people are going at those of us who said the most important thing from the 2025 season for Ohio State was beating Michigan, is I would rather have them beat Michigan than win the national championship. In no way, shape, or form, if all things are equal, going into a season, Ohio State needs to win the national championship. But because they had lost their last 4, I thought it was more important this year that they beat that team up north. In any other given season, would you rather have a national championship or beating Michigan, Tito?
I'd rather have the Natty. And that was a thing where I know you're not saying one needs to be exclusive of the other, but I know that was the argument I had last year with people was that wanted to fire Ryan Day after the Michigan game last year. And I said, let's wait and see how it plays out. And I'm telling you, last year, yes, it sucks to lose to Michigan. Every time, especially forward, when you get the better team, it sucks. Losing to Michigan sucks. But I felt better at this time last year than I do this year.
Nate?
I'm a little torn, but I think I'm going back to I felt worse last year losing to Michigan and I can accept losing to a team that is better than us in the playoffs.
I'm right there with you. And I think with last year's Michigan loss, the vitriol I experienced from the fan base, not directed at me, but the vitriol at the program, the vitriol at the head coach was so much greater and so much more angry than it was. Like doing the postmortem for Michigan in 2024 was as bad as it's ever been. Doing the postmortem for the Cotton Bowl wasn't great, but it was nowhere near the level of anger that I experienced talking to the Ohio State fan base as it was with Michigan in 24.
If Ohio State had lost earlier in the season, say they lose to Illinois, and then run the table and win the Big Ten championship or lose whatever, and then but I'm saying the fact they lost their last 2 games really stinks.
It stinks right now.
Yes.
And I think the recency bias is obviously going to be there for another couple of weeks. But once you get to the spring game and then once you get into training camp, it doesn't hurt as bad because you don't have Michigan hanging around. Now, I think the Wolverines have a better coach in 2026 than they did in 2025. I think anybody in the Big Ten would have been a better coach rather than Sharon Moore. But I just thought that was an interesting, the context is super important in what I would rather have. You always want the national championship, but because you got the national championship, then you needed to beat Michigan, and you did. And it was such a cathartic win, getting them in Ann Arbor.
Do you think that people, okay, if you ask, go out, and we ask a bunch of listeners. We're not going to do it right now, 648-219-9710. Don't call it.
We have a YouTube chat.
Right.
So you could ask the chatters.
Okay. Would you rather have this year or last year? Beat Michigan, don't win the Natty. Lose to Michigan, win the Natty. And I wonder if your decision is based on your age.
I think so. I think that's probably the biggest delineation is those who say that beating Michigan's the end-all, be-all would rather have this season.
Right.
But I think a lot of Ohio State, the majority, and I would rather have the playoff run that you had to the national title.
Because you've had a lot of Michigan wins in your lifetime. You've experienced
the
a lot.
Tressel era, the Urban era.
Right, right, yeah. But I think people who maybe are...
The Cooper era.
Older than me, I'll say. I'm
even
54.
Some Earl Bruce years.
Earl had some wins against Michigan. He got the rivalry. He got it. Cooper didn't. Cooper never got it. But I think if you are over the age of 60, you're more likely to say beat Michigan. If you're under your age, I think you're more likely to say win the Natty.
Nate, where are you?
I'm in the middle is the problem, where I grew up in the Cooper era, and beating Michigan is a very important thing to me.
Now, when we talk about the coaching carousel, I think Michigan's in a better spot. I don't know what's going to happen with them and Bryce Underwood. He's still at Michigan. I think Davis Warren entered the transfer portal. Pat Fitzgerald's at Michigan State. I don't know how that's going to go because it feels like they want the Texas Tech, Kurt Signetti, Indiana turnaround quickly. But I don't know if Pat Fitzgerald's the guy that's going to be able to do that for them. Matt Campbell's in at Penn State. Marcus Freeman got a contract amendment at Notre Dame.
Right.
I know I said Big Ten, but I'm branching out, staying in the footprint because Notre Dame's a very, very important piece in the future of college football. I know that's really annoying for everybody to hear because they are an annoying entity. Notre Dame annoys the hell out of me. But for Marcus, I think if you're going to say who's next, a lot of fingers are going to be pointing to South Bend and saying Marcus is next.
If he wants it.
Well, if he wants the NFL or if he wants to stay and build something from what he's already done at Notre Dame. We'll have some of the Marcus Freeman conversation, how it connects to the NFL coming up next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them, safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists.
For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Nate Puderbaugh with your sports update. Good start to January for the men's Ohio State basketball team. They went on the road last night to Rutgers and came back from a 15-point deficit to win 80-73. Bruce Thornton finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds, while Devin Royal added 16 points in the win. They return home Monday night to take on the number 13 Nebraska. Afternoon hockey for the CBJ. They're at home at Nationwide Arena to take on the Buffalo Sabres. The Jackets sit 6 points back of the Sabres in the playoff standings. Cover starts at 2:30 right here on The Fan. Afternoon football sees Carolina headed to Tampa Bay at 4:30. In the nightcap, Seattle heads to San Francisco with the top seed in the NFC on the line. A win would give Seattle its first conference title since 2020. And the Browns and Bengals finish off their regular season tomorrow. They square off in Cincinnati at 1 o'clock. Catch the action right here on The Fan. Bringing sports news and what happens to the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Reiser and Tito, you heard Nate in the update. First Sports Saturday spectacular on The Fan for the year 2026. We're going to keep going with our Would You Rather Michigan or National Championship conversation just real quick because we did get some discussion in the YouTube chat from it. Burton Bassett says, I hate Michigan more than my love for being a national champion, which I think is it's a point you made that there's so many in this fan base that just have to beat Michigan and that can't get over anything else. And that's totally fine. Because we've all grown up in this.
Yes.
So we understand it. Whereas I look and see Ed, who says, watching the discourse over needing to beat a rival over winning a title is hilarious because you're trying to justify beating a potentially down bad team over beating the best of the best in a tourney. I would say, Ed, I don't think you necessarily understand Ohio State and Michigan. It's different than almost every other college football rivalry out there.
I almost feel like the question itself is based on a bad premise. It's like, would you rather have a national title or beat Michigan? Well, yes, I'd rather have I'd rather have a national title. Would I rather have $1 million or a job that pays my bills well? Yes, I'd rather have $1 million, but I can control if I've got a job that pays my bills. Ohio State can't control if Georgia's got an amazing team, had 5 straight awesome recruiting classes, and is the best team in the country. 9 times out of the 10, they can control if they're better than Michigan.
Sure, but I think the question I think is a simple one. I don't think you need to overthink it too much,
right?
But I think the context is important. That if you grew up in a certain era, or how do you value the Michigan win over the national championship? And the point I wanted to make is there are fans that value the Michigan game and winning the game more than a national championship, and that's totally fine.
It is fine, yeah.
I would just. The national championship is you're just summiting the mountaintop. And that's the goal for Ohio State every single season. This one was different for me, though. Because of that context, you hadn't won in 4 years.
You had to get that monkey off your back this year.
Right, and you had just won the national championship.
Right.
As you also heard, Nate, in the update, you got Blue Jackets back-to-back today and tomorrow.
Yarmo in town.
Yarmo's back, baby, as the general manager of the Buffalo Sabres. Jackets and Sabres go at 3 o'clock. We'll have fan pregame coverage at 2:30. Same time for both tomorrow. Jackets and Penguins on Sunday. 2:30 be the pregame coverage there. You have Igor Chinnikov back for the for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Blue Jackets traded him at the end of last month. Got 2 draft picks and a journeyman.
Yeah.
A 30-year-old guy who had been played for several NHL organization. I think he spent time with Pittsburgh's AHL affiliate and with the Penguins this year. But I think the draft capital was important. I think the Igor Chinnikov as a player is the potential to be great, has been great in moments for the Blue Jackets. It was just time.
I agree with you, but look at they traded Juracek last year to Minnesota, a top draft pick, like top, when he's 6th, was he drafted 6th by them in the first round? Yeah. I think so. Okay. And now you got Chinnikov, who's picked in the 20s, but still very talented. That's 2 straight years they've traded guys they took in the first round that are damn good. And I don't know if that just is because of changes at the top, because the guys who are in charge now didn't draft those guys.
Right.
Maybe it's part of that.
I think that's the biggest part of it.
Okay, so but it's like
it wasn't it wasn't a Don Waddell guy.
Right. But it's so hard to think about losing trading just because they didn't work their way onto a team that's usually not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They couldn't find a significant role where they performed well on a team that typically underperforms.
It's damning. I don't know if that's the right word.
I know, but I know.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Is how I'll say the Igor Chinnikov thing ended, especially with them trading him to Pittsburgh.
I know.
You get a 2nd-round pick in 2026. You get a 3rd-round pick in 2027, and there's a chance he comes back to haunt you because you're right now for the Blue Jackets, you're last in the East. You're looking up at Pittsburgh. You're looking way up at the Buffalo Sabres. You need to not doing must-wins in January.
Yeah.
Must not lose or must not come away with 0 points in 2 games.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather have the Jackets fall behind today 3-0 in the first period and come back and lose, say 3-2, but make it fight, or be up 3-0 going into the third and then lose at overtime 4-3?
We'll lose overtime 4-3 because you get a point.
God, I don't want to see him blow a lead, though. Like, if you're going to do it, just lose. I know I'm going to lose, but if you're going to lose.
We need points.
I know, Nate's exactly right.
I know, but.
Yeah.
It annoys me, but yes, we need points.
Especially the last time you saw the Blue Jackets was you had a 2-0 lead going into the final 20. And then in the span of 2 minutes in that final 20, the Devils were able to put 3 in you.
Yeah.
And you take a loss going into the new year. So today, Sabres, tomorrow, Penguins. Let's go Blue Jackets here, both games on the Fan. Last night against Rutgers for the Ohio State men's basketball team. Not a must-win, a must-not lose.
You're so good at that.
And Bruce Thornton did the damn thing with 20 points. He moves up 8 all-time in Ohio State's scoring list. Ohio State gets the win 80-73. They're 2-1 in conference play. They've got Nebraska in town Monday night. The Cornhuskers haven't lost this season. They're 13th in the country. The ball will be tipped at the shot Monday at 7:30, so we'll gently warm you up, or Brandon Beam will. It's 5:30 right here on the Fan.
By the way,
yeah,
the most important thing about the game yesterday, Ohio State won a game in January in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
on the road.
It was so important that you start the year off with a win and not fall into the January, almost February hole that had preceded this season's team.
It counts as 2 wins.
Yes, because you have to make the tournament.
Yes.
And so I don't ever want to put a must-win on a team in January, but you could not go into Piscataway and lose, and they were down at half, but they rallied in the second. And that gives you hope. And that's all you can ask. That's all I'm going to ask for right now. And I also understand, Buckeye basketball fan out there, with the consternation of, look what Dusty May is doing at Michigan. That conversation's always going to be there, fair or not, because both those coaches were hired around the same time. Dusty May was available, and Dusty May right now has Michigan unblemished and 2nd in the country.
They've got 8 more games in January. Ohio State does. Okay, they host number 13 Nebraska at Oregon, at Washington, host UCLA, host Minnesota, at Michigan, host Penn State, at Wisconsin. 8 games. How many do they have to win for you to feel like it was a good January?
6.
So
they have 7 in
Michigan be tough.
Compared to most years, I'll take 500.
You'll take 4-4.
Yeah, I guess I'm being a little greedy.
4-4.
No, damn it, I'm not moving. I'm not emotionally moving the goalposts. These are not the Columbus Blue Jackets. Win most of yes.
Okay, if
6 wins.
If they're 4-4, then going into February they'd be 14-7. And they would be 6-5 in the Big Ten. Now, I'd like 14-7 going into February. I think that the one that's going to mean the most to me is going to be the Nebraska game.
The one this coming Monday?
Yes, the home game against an undefeated Nebraska team. I think that's the, because I don't expect them to win in Ann Arbor.
No.
Michigan's damn good.
Yeah.
You thought Illinois was good? Michigan's damn good.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't expect a win there. But getting a win against a ranked Nebraska team, although I'm not sure how good Nebraska, I don't think they're really the...
Look, you got to beat the teams in front of you.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's done
Nebraska's
that
the
so
13th
far.
best team in the country. But
understand.
So I'm saying it's still... But to get a win against... to get a quality win would be huge.
I think for Ohio State, you can go out to the West Coast, beat Oregon, beat Washington, come back home, beat UCLA, beat Minnesota, and then take down Penn State. The Michigan is the one thing I'm like, okay, I don't expect. Yeah. Everything else I expect at least a competitive loss for both halves, or if not a win.
Yeah.
I do have tremendous expectations for this team.
So you want 6-2.
Yeah.
6-2, you'll feel good. 4-4, you don't feel good.
No.
Okay.
I think the context there is 4-4 with a win over Nebraska is probably a better context.
Okay.
Because that actually gives us a ranked
top
win.
20. Yeah. That puts you in the, and all of these will put you in the quad one box, but that win over the ranked Nebraska foe gives you some resume fodder. Because these are all important now as you look to March.
Yeah.
For Marcus Freeman, there's going to be a time, I think, every year now, and it happened last season, it'll happen this season, where he's going to be one of the hottest coaching candidates. Like every December and January, he's going to be at the top of most lists of who's the next guy for the NFL. Where could Marcus Freeman go in terms of a different place in college? Right? Because I think Notre Dame, if Ohio State came calling, if another school, maybe in Alabama or Georgia, came calling, those would be things he would listen to. And you'd almost have to, especially if it's Ohio State.
Well, if it's Ohio State, you have to, but
And Notre Dame knows this, and that's why they amended his contract, likely gave him some more money, maybe changed some language in a buyout, but NFL teams will be doing the same thing. And I'm not sure if he were to go now to any of the openings in the NFL.
Right.
There's 2, Titans, Giants. I may be missing a couple. And I will be certainly, once the regular season ends this coming Monday, you'll see a lot open. There'll probably be some in the AFC North. I'm not sure there's any fit or scenario right now for Marcus that would work for him and work for that organization.
The only 2 I would take, if I'm Marcus Freeman, the only 2 potential jobs I would take would be Kansas City if Reed resigned.
Sure.
Or Pittsburgh if they part ways with Tomlin. I think those are 2 that are worth it. Other than that, there's not one I would make the move for. Look, Miami's got a statue of Don Shula. Green Bay's got one of Curly Lambeau and of Vince Lombardi. Not many other. You're not getting a statue built as an NFL coach. At Notre Dame, you win a natty, you'll get a statue. They'll put one out there. And I think Notre Dame fans would be upset if Freeman left for an NFL job.
Sure.
If he wins a title first and then leaves, I think they'd be okay with it.
That feels to me the path that Freeman would want to take.
Yeah.
He's only 39, I think.
Right.
So you would absolutely, and nobody ever gets it really their way in this.
Sure.
But you have Notre Dame constantly knocking or getting into the college football playoff. One year last year they made a run to the championship. They were the runner-up.
Yep.
So he's a guy that strikes me as would have to land in the right position. Like Kansas City.
Yeah.
And the Steelers thing almost fits like a glove.
It really does.
Because that's an organization, if they move on from Tomlin, going into, you've got a decade. Because they to your point, they don't fire coaches.
And when you're 39 years old, you've got a chance to have a very long career there. It's like you're not I would not leave Notre Dame for Tennessee, for the Giants, for the Raiders. I would not leave Notre Dame for any of those jobs. But if you give me an established team that shows patience and is willing to spend money, then it makes sense.
How does tomorrow night's game for the Steelers factor into the future in the AFC North? We'll discuss that next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
All new in 2026, the Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Tel Ohio Credit Union, is back and bigger than ever at the Ohio Expo Center. Whether it's your first adventure or you're a seasoned outdoor enthusiast, this show has it all. One ticket gets you into all 3 buildings so you can see the latest in RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, and more. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more, it's all here. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 9th through 18th. Get details and tickets at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay, plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Wildlife around the globe needs help. And when you help protect them, you become a friend of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Thank you for helping protect wildlife around the globe. Without you, there's no them. Learn more at sdzwa.org/friend.
Get ready for the college football playoff with a $9.99 haircut coupon from Great Clips. Kick off your game day look with convenient online check-in in the Great Clips app. The skilled stylists at Great Clips salons will save your haircut details in clip notes. And with a $9.99 haircut coupon, you'll score elite savings too. Visit greatclips.com/football to get a $9.99 haircut coupon. But hurry, offer ends soon. Great Clips, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
Valid only at participating U.S. salons. Terms apply.
Save on your next project now at Menards. For softer skin and cleaner clothes, shop our great selection of water softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water while at home or away. Morton's look-ahead technology learns and predicts your water needs, saving you money. Save on Morton water softeners. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Common Man and Timmy.
You like a sleeper?
No, a sleeper's
so
no good.
No good.
Sleeper sucks. You ever try to actually sleep on one of those?
Got that bar.
Mess you up.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking mostly cloudy skies here for your Saturday with high temperatures around 29 here this afternoon. Winds will be fairly light out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine, and highs are back into the lower 30s. But we are looking ahead to a warm-up here as we head through the week. Highs are in the 40s on Monday, but all the way to the 50s here as we head towards the middle to end of the work week. But also looking ahead to some rain here by Tuesday, and likely some more rain on Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are. Reiser and Tito, Nate, rolling along with you until noon today. We'll have Blue Jackets pregame coverage starting at 2:30. You get a little Westwood One sports in between us and the CBJ and the Buffalo Sabres. Then Blue Jackets and Penguins tomorrow, 2:30 for the coverage, 3 o'clock for the puck drop at Nationwide. So that'll bump the Browns and the Bengals over to the Fan 2, 1460 on the AM dial. You can't see me do the point, but I'm pointing over to where the AM studio
actually double-check. There's no Browns tomorrow.
There's no Browns.
No, because the women's team is on the AM tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. So no Browns, Bengals. Sorry for that.
We don't have Browns, Bengals tomorrow?
We've got the men's game on the FM and the women's game on the AM.
And they play Rutgers, the Ohio State women's basketball team does.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not the men's team, the hockey game I meant on the
We'll get the schedule. Maybe we'll endeavor to get the schedules right in the 2 o'clock hour.
Take a look.
For the Blue Jackets, get points. For the Ohio State men's basketball team, get wins. Because you guys are having that conversation. I'm looking into their February schedule, and you've got a stretch against USC, against Michigan, and then taking on Virginia in Nashville on Valentine's Day. I think there's another ranked opponent for Jake Diebler's squad in the month of February. So going 500 in January would set yourself up just in such a bad spot for what's going to be a much tougher February. And then March, it just gets, it would snowball so much where you wouldn't be able to achieve the goal that I have. I don't think they'd be able to achieve the goal of making the NCAA tournament.
I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here.
But you're going to be Debbie Downer here.
But what is more likely? The Jackets continuing to blow third period leads, or Ohio State falling flat in January?
The Jackets.
Yes, it's the right
I'd say
answer.
it's
the Jackets.
I'm going to say the Jackets. I'm trying to stay as positive as possible because I think at best this team can make this Ohio State basketball team can make the tournament.
And I think they've got the depth is starting to be a problem. The depth is concerning.
I think Rutgers had 39 points off the bench last night compared to 14 for the Buckeyes.
I felt much better about the bench before the season started. But they do have the makeup of a team that can pull off an upset in the tournament.
Yeah.
When you've got Bruce Thornton doing what he does. He's that guy. He's like Khalid El-Amin was for Connecticut. He's like Mateen Cleaves was for Michigan State, a veteran guard who can score in bunches and is a leader.
They can't do 4-4 in January, but it starts Monday. Well, it started last night with a win over Rutgers, but it's Monday against Nebraska, 6:30. I have coverage on the Fan at 5:30. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, you win and you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You beat Baltimore Sunday night. You win in Baltimore. That game starts at 8:20. And you're probably the 4th seed in the AFC. And as of right now, if you're that 4th spot as AFC North champion, if the Ravens win similar spot, you're likely looking right now at the Houston Texans. And I think for the AFC, the Houston Texans are the team that maybe them and New England are the two that I feel the most bullish about going into this NFL postseason.
Yeah, you got the 3 teams that are 11-5. That would be one of those would be the 5 seed. Either be the Texans, the Chargers, or the Bills.
Denver beats Los Angeles. Chargers aren't playing anybody. Right. Denver's the 1 seed.
And you've got Buffalo is playing. Who's Buffalo got? Buffalo has got. They're hosting the Jets. They should win. Yes. Houston is hosting Indianapolis. They should win. Phillip Rivers not playing.
Lincoln
Riley Leonard. Yes, that's the one who's going to be playing quarterback for them.
Not Phillip Rivers. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers says he's done it.
Roll him out one more time. But the Texans and their defense is why I'm more bullish on them than I would be normally.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They are. And what's concerning to me is that when DK Metcalf did what he did, it potentially could void like millions of guaranteed money he was going to get.
The interaction with the Fan?
Yeah. because
he's still out Sunday.
He's out Sunday.
It's the second of his 2-game suspension.
And their offense was awful against Cleveland. This Cleveland team that had given up like 25 points a game in the previous 4 games, including a bunch to the Titans, and the Browns the Browns gave up 6 to Pittsburgh.
Do you think there's truth to the idea that they were more worried about Myles Garrett's sack record than they were about actually winning the football game, knowing that they had another chance the week after?
I think that I don't believe that to be the case.
It looked like it.
I think they definitely spent time. I don't know necessarily because like people say it's because of sack record. I don't think it's sack record. It's you've got a game plan for Myles Garrett. No matter if he's going for a sack record or not. What I wanted to see happen, I wanted the Browns to fall behind big and then see Aaron Rodgers do what Brett Favre did to Strahan, just fall down and let Garrett tap on him to get the record. That was so great. I know.
Aaron Rodgers do that?
I would have loved to see that happen. I know what happened. Anyway, so there was $60 million in guaranteed money between DK Metcalf's signing bonus in 2025 and 2026 salaries, both. And because of suspension, the Steelers could have voided $45 million in future guarantees. They have chosen, according to Jay Glazer, they are not going to void the guarantees. I would have waited to see what happened on Sunday before deciding if I'm voiding those guarantees, because I will tell you, if they lose, I put a lot of the blame on DK Metcalf's behavior.
That's fair, but they should have beaten the Browns.
They should have beaten the Browns.
DK Metcalf, you shouldn't lose to that Cleveland team.
I don't think Metcalf's the reason they lost, but you could draw a line there and say, well, we don't know if they would have won with Metcalf. We don't know if they would have lost, but their best team wasn't on the field.
Garrett's a half sack away from tying the record. He's a full sack from getting it outright. He looks to do it against Joe Burrow, who I think he's got 11, 12 sacks in the careers against each other. Here's the Bengals quarterback on trying to avoid that.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to overcompensate either way. I'm not going to go out of my way to not let him get the record, and I'm not going to go out of my way to let him get the record either. I'm going to go and play football. There's going to be situations that a sack is the best of the bad outcomes of that play, and maybe I take one. And there's going to be other situations that I'm about to get sacked, and I need to throw it away in that situation. It's such a situational game that I don't think you can go in thinking one way or the other. Every play is so different.
Do you think if Garrett gets the record early, he sits out the rest of the game?
No. There's certainly a chance.
Right.
I don't think, though, he would do that. I honestly think that Myles Garrett is the ultimate competitor.
Okay.
And when he's out there on the field, he wants to play as hard as possible. He wants to play as much as he can, because I think he's got a lot of pride in his performance. And I do think there's a lot of camaraderie on that defense. I think they're very proud of what they've done. The totality of the season being one of the top 5 defenses in the league. I think he's got a lot of love for Jim Schwartz. I also understand he's probably not thrilled with how things have gone in Cleveland.
It's his own damn fault.
I agree with you, because he took the money.
Yes.
Myles Garrett held court yesterday with Cleveland media and was asked about the idea of still being committed to this organization, even if they go into a rebuild in 2026.
At quote max, I'm committed to winning. And as long as the team and organization are doing so and they're committed to that same thing, then I'm all on board. But if we're not thinking anything other than winning, tanking or rebuilding, that's not me.
I don't think they're tanking. I certainly think they're going to try to win tomorrow's game. But this is going to be a rebuild next year, regardless of what you do with the front office or the head coach.
It's going to be a rebuild the year after that, too. And probably the year after that. And all likely the year after that. And he signed up for it, Reese.
I just can't imagine there was a PowerPoint or a binder or a thing they presented to him that would have been, we'll compete for a Super Bowl in 2 years.
No.
There's no, I just know.
You took $160 million. Shut up.
He took the money.
That's what he did. And so just own it.
We can't.
I know he can't. He's going to demand a trade at some point.
Because they got him cupcakes, too.
Yeah.
I do think a trade demands in the future.
Me too.
And it stinks, and I wish they'd have traded him when he had a ton of value. He'll always have value because he's one of, if not the best defensive player in the league. But it gets lesser in terms of value because teams might ask you to eat some of that money.
Do you think Myles Garrett is more likely to win a playoff game in Cleveland or win a playoff game in another uniform?
Playoff game in another uniform.
I think so,
Browns
too.
Are such a far way off from winning a playoff game. And it was interesting in that cut that I just played. He had talked about, he said, I'm going to quote Max. He's talking about Max Crosby.
Right, yeah.
You know how things are going for Max Crosby and the Las Vegas Raiders right now?
Right. I know.
So when he invokes that,
yeah.
If you were a Browns fan that was always positive, that should put some pessimism, just a little bit of pessimism in you. I'm a pessimistic Browns fan, as almost as pessimistic as it gets.
When you
I
say
think
you're,
it's time for a change.
When
Everybody
you say you're
needs
a Browns
fresh
fan,
start.
When you say you're a Browns fan, it's assumed you're pessimistic.
It is. It shouldn't be, because I know some Browns fans that drink that Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That they guzzle the Kool-Aid. That Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, can't do anything wrong, and Mensa football man and Andrew Barry, still to this day. And it is a little ridiculous. But we'll see how things go tomorrow against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think there's a lot of pride on that Browns defense. I think they do want to see more for Shedeur Sanders. And I think for the Bengals, they want to not lose to the Cleveland Browns. So you're not going to see two teams tanking tomorrow in Cincinnati.
You won't hear them either.
Apparently not. I don't want to give any more schedule things because I'm getting it wrong all over the place. I do know for the NFL, you've got a pair of games today in the Panthers and Buccaneers, 4:30. Seahawks are at the 49ers, 8 o'clock. The NFC West is on the line between the Seahawks and the 49ers. That's why everybody's playing. For the Panthers and the Buccaneers, Carolina can win with a win. They win the NFC South, they're in. If Tampa Bay wins, then you get to some weird, convoluted scenario where the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints game Sunday at 1 matters.
Yeah, it's a weird thing and which is really weird to think that a Saints-Falcons game actually means something, but it does.
But it does for tomorrow. And another NFL team's making a really interesting move I want to get Tito's thoughts on next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little fly, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Good girl, Bob.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
So I saw this Thursday, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that ESPN's Troy Aikman will advise the Miami Dolphins on their general manager search process. Schefter says Dolphins ownership wanted an outside, respected perspective from someone who had strong relationships across the league. They fired Chris Greer back on Halloween. The Fins were 2-7 then. Miami's 7-9. Their season finale against the New England Patriots is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know on this. Look, it's
like
not
the
a
Raiders
permanent
with
role.
Tom Brady. How is that going?
Okay, so it's not a permanent role.
It's
they're
an
saying.
advisor process, but why?
I don't know what they think Troy Aikman can bring. Like, for a GM. Like, if you want Troy Aikman to evaluate your quarterbacks, okay. I'm okay with that. But why Aikman to...
I mean, any general managerial candidate's going to be handcuffed to the Tua Tagovailoa contract.
Right.
And so any general managerial candidate you bring in,
right,
that should be the first thing you tell him. What's Troy Aikman going to add to that? Because you can only go with Tua, and maybe Quinn Ewers was a lottery ticket for you. But that's where it starts. And any general managerial candidate that's kind of worth their weight, it's like, I don't want to deal with that right now.
Not that it matters, but Aikman's had a lot of concussions, so has Tua. Just a thought. You're going to have a concussed quarterback.
It is
former
one.
quarterback.
Yes, it is.
Concussed
Is
former
a thought.
quarterback. Advising a general manager on what to do with a concussed quarterback.
You have thought. And
Thank you.
I'd have brought the thought to the air.
I was trying to make
you for that.
There was no way to make a joke about it.
There is none, no.
I know, but it was...
Stop trying.
Interesting. I don't understand this. The Brady thing, they're saying Brady's going to play a bigger role going forward with the Raiders next year. Well, I don't know. Did Brady
I don't know how much of it is on him.
Did Brady want Pete Carroll?
Well, I think everybody would have said that hire was good. I said that hire. I think a lot of people thought that would work.
Did he want Geno Smith?
That I think a lot of people thought would not work.
Yeah.
So, can't go back on it because I think they gave Geno Smith a bunch of money too.
Yeah. I guess I don't. Aikman's. It said his role won't affect his job as Monday Night Football analyst this season. Well, you got a game left in playoffs.
They've got a game left in the playoffs. I think ESPN's got some playoff games they're calling.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's weird. It's as weird as the Tom Brady Fox thing. But if the Dolphins want to do that, fine. It's interesting where the Dolphins stand with Mike McDaniel, because I would have thought, and he's got heat on the seat. But they are now 7-9 from a 2-7 start. Jeremy Fowler had reporting earlier in the week that if the Browns were to move off Stefanski, look at McDaniel as a potential replacement. I go, they're the same person. It's the same offensive whiz that thinks they're smarter than everybody, that takes no accountability for things. One just wears sunglasses inside, I should say. And Joshua Perry made the point also tight pants for McDaniel. Fine. It's the same thing. You're not doing anything different. If you keep Stefanski, if McDaniel's the other option.
You're right. It's because they've also said, the reports, but Stefanski could be a very much wanted candidate.
Great. Someone else can have him.
Someone else will take him.
As a Browns fan, I say that. I think he's really good. He's a really good football play caller.
Right.
I think he's a really good football play caller. That's all I've got for him, because he's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. That hasn't worked out. I heard somebody who's very connected to the Browns organization, and no, it's not Uncle Bo, but they were talking on a Cleveland radio station about how, well, Kevin just hasn't had the opportunity to get his guy in the room.
What?
Just hasn't had the opportunity to work with a quarterback. And my brain kind of spun, but then I understood from the Browns' perspective, that's how they truly feel. And that's what's giving me most of the pause where I say Stefanski's not going anywhere, because the brain trust in Berea honestly thinks, we just got to get Kevin his guy. Despite it having happened several times where he's gone out and gotten a guy, or maybe the guy that he wanted, and it hasn't worked. If they still think it, that's what leads me to believe he isn't going anywhere. Kevin Stefanski, I mean.
Do you think their starting quarterback is on the roster for next year, week 1 right now?
Yes.
You think it's Sanders?
I think it's Sanders. I'm leaning Sanders, but there's a world I see where Watson could be.
Got it.
Do you see a world where if they're keeping Stefanski and want his guy, they try to trade up to get Mendoza?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because I think they sit there and say to themselves, we can make this guy work. And that's not the organization that can develop a rookie quarterback. That's not the roster where a rookie quarterback could thrive. Because if, Nate, in your scenario, you are moving up, you're trading draft capital. And that team is not good.
No, yeah.
That roster stinks. That offensive line's old that you've got to replace. You have, in my opinion, if you keep Stefanski, you want to keep Andrew Berry, they've got to hit on a similar draft in 26 that they had in 25, and that's acquiring talent. You need to put more talent, go get Carnell Tate, and then think of the quarterback in 2027 you want to draft. Because I don't think, bless you, I don't think Sanders is the guy for the future.
Right.
I can't wait till they jettison Deshaun Watson into Lake Erie, and maybe if they can go get a veteran. They tried the Kenny Pickett thing last year, hilariously failed. Maybe it's Mac Jones this time. And that's what I think the plan should be this year.
I'm not encouraging it, but I would not blame the Browns if they hired Jeff Galooly to take care of Deshaun Watson in the offseason. Go after the Achilles again. But I'm not encouraging it. Nonetheless.
Was he the guy with the pipe?
No, I think it was actually the other guy was the pipe. Galooly was the one who planned it with Tanya.
Okay.
It was...
Because in this instance, you're having the Browns hire a guy.
Hire a guy to hire a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big fat
No
guy.
one
Sean
under
something.
the age of 45 got that reference.
Yeah, there's a real. I mean, I'm 35 and I get it,
barely
but
get it,
you
yeah.
have to explain the whole Tanya Harding thing, and we don't have enough time in this program to do that.
Yeah, I wasted too much time on the concussion jokes.
It's all
right.
It's all right. We're only on for another half an hour.
For the Browns to get a competent, established head coach, they have to do what they did with Deshaun Watson, which is overpay and reset the market, because it's not an attractive job.
I disagree.
You think it's an attractive job?
There's only 32 of them. You want to be a head coach in the NFL, here's your opportunity.
But do you want to be a head coach for 30? The Ohio teams, well, the Bengals is more attractive because you've got Burrow locked up.
Yeah, any team with a franchise quarterback is more attractive.
And two established, well-paid wide receivers.
Also fun.
But I don't see any reason why an established, I know you can get somebody who's a first-time head coach, sure. Or you get somebody who just failed as a head coach. I'm talking about, though, what the Browns did with Watson. Watson would not go to the Browns.
Unless they guaranteed all the money.
Guaranteed more money than anybody else is going to give him.
Yeah.
Other than that, if it's apples to apples, he's with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay?
I agree.
Garrett the same way.
Wish that had been the case.
I know. They had to pay Garrett a ton of money to get him to stay. He wants to be a Brown for a while, which he doesn't anymore. But that's okay. They have to, if they want to get an established head coach, though, and I might say a Pete Carroll type maybe. I'm just not like, you can get a first-time head coach for sure. Someone's going to take the job. Because you're right, it's 1 of 32. But if you want to get somebody with a proven track record as a winning coach in the NFL,
you take Mike Tomlin. I'm trying to run through possible candidates that meet that criteria. Yeah. I don't think that's out there, which is why I say I think the Browns would be fine if they were to move on from Stefanski. They'd have their pick of anybody. Because
Tomlin's probably the one. You're right.
Because there aren't established guys that are out there, at least not for me for right now. I think the Jeff Hafleys will be thrown out there.
Okay.
I'm forgetting Brian Flores. His name will be thrown out there. Like all of those guys would jump at the chance to coach in Cleveland because it's a head coaching gig in the NFL, and that's the ultimate goal for a lot of these guys.
You mentioned Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
If the Ravens fired Harbaugh, I would throw as much money at Harbaugh as it takes to get him there if I'm the Browns.
Talk me into that.
If Andy Reid resigned from the Chiefs or they parted ways,
bring back Jeff Fisher.
If you get Andy Reid to take the challenge of rebuilding that team and making them a winner. Holmgren did it with Seattle. He wanted the challenge there.
Holmgren to Cleveland.
I know. Holmgren is an advisor here in Cleveland or whatever it was, president of operations.
Broken leg in a golf cart.
Yes. But I'm saying, if you want to get one of these guys who might lose their job, you've got to pay them more than anybody else will pay them because it's not an attractive job.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand the point that you're trying to make. In terms of overpays, Ohio State's likely not going to do any of that for guys in the transfer portal. If a receiver say Coleman, the receiver from Auburn, goes to Ryan Day, says, I want $4 million, they will likely say, well, we'll show you the door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Texas or another program that needs a deep threat is in the position to say something like that. Ohio State's got about 14 players right now in the transfer portal, and they've got some needs that they need to address immediately to be back in the same spot in 2026. We'll discuss that next at Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Tri-State Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Tri-State Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you in Hilliard and Westerville.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape. but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
Hey, Aaron, what New Year's resolutions are you and I making this year?
Are you saying that I'm supposed to make New Year's resolutions for both of us?
Aaron, you know that thing where someone buys a gift and then someone else comes along and says, tell them it's from both of us.
Yeah?
Well, I invented that.
Jerry, I'll share my New Year's resolutions with you, but only if you promise to follow through on every one of them.
You've got it, Aaron.
Resolution number 2. I resolved to figure out new ways to make plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians more affordable for everyone.
Like how we give everyone $500 in free plumbing services whenever they buy a new water heater?
That's right, because every unexpected expense should be softened by an unexpected gift.
Like how we give people back all the money they paid us to repair their old HVAC system when they finally replace it with a new one?
That's right, up to $1,500.
We really care about people.
That's right, Jerry, and that's always resolution number 1.
Get Eco.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
T-Bone's an expert at making mornings better. He brought back the bagel sandwiches at McDonald's. He feeds birds out of his mouth. And he hosts a radio show guaranteed to make you smile. Yay, T-Bone. Yes. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
5640, Tito.
Thank you.
During the break, I was just doing some Googling at NFL head coaching candidates just to see who the NFL groupthink thinks should be up next for some of these jobs. Jesse Minter, Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator, both USA Today and ESPN have at the top of their list. Matt Nagy, Kansas Chiefs offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh, Niners defensive coordinator. We've seen that before. Yep. Cliff Kingsbury, Commanders OC. Seen that before. The name Mike Tomlin's on this. Kevin Stefanski's on these lists.
Right.
A lot of these things that we've seen before. So I think to your point about the Cleveland Browns, I think those guys like Minter, like Nagy, I would jump at that job, especially Minter, knowing the defense that he would have. I don't know what that would mean for Jim Schwartz, but I think if, and again, I still think they keep Kevin Stefanski for next year. But in the event he's gone, that job will be desired.
Would you say Vrabel was a great NFL player or a good NFL player?
Can I meet you in the middle and say really good NFL player?
Okay. I'm trying to think if we've given up on former great players.
Because great, I'm going to go
coaches.
Tom Brady.
Okay. Fair.
Really good NFL player is Vrabel.
There was a time when you saw, like Bart Starr got the job at the Green Bay Packers back in the 70s.
Sure.
Didn't do great. And so when you talk about people that Brown, I was trying to think if there's any former great players. Jeff Saturday, I think, was a really good player for the Colts, and that did not go well when he had the brief tenure with Indianapolis.
No, but he was kind of thrown in there lazily without any thought to it. It was like, he's popular, see what he can do.
But I wonder if there's a former good, very good player that would be different than what they've done with recent hires for the Browns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny because people ask, well, why didn't the Browns just keep Vrabel in the building? I think Vrabel was in the building. I think he always wanted to go to New England, and I think he saw the Browns' dysfunction and said, yeah, I'd like no part of that.
See, I wonder if it's the other way. I wonder if Vrabel wanted it. You don't think he did? You think
I think he would have taken it for the right offer. Vrabel is the guy, to your point, the Browns would have to wildly overpay for to keep him in that building as the head coach.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to do that. And I think he's smart enough to realize how that organization goes from tippy top.
And who else is on that? There was another coach on that staff too. What, like it was the Browns that now? I'm trying to think. Can you think there's another guy they could have had in the build that was in the building that could have had his head coach also?
Again, Jim Schwartz comes to mind.
Right. Maybe that's who I don't know.
But it remains. I still think again, Stefanski's back in 2026. I don't think Zach Taylor's back. I do think Mike Tomlin's back, and I do think John Harbaugh's back.
I think so too.
So I think 3 of the 4 remain. I think Zach Taylor's the odd man out there. According to On3, and now this goes to a point I made earlier in the show because the transfer portal in college football is open now through Friday, January 16th. On3 says there are 2,044 players in the Division I transfer portal.
Okay.
Now, ESPN had a number about 4,500. I've seen numbers that range in the 3,000s as well. The point I was making earlier is all of this is clear as mud. And so none of this is a transparent process. So none of these numbers are wrong. I don't think any of these numbers are right. I just think it's all over the place. For Ohio State, there are 14 players as of right now. Devontae Armstrong was the last Buckeye I saw make a portal announcement, the offensive tackle out of Toledo. His brother, I believe, is still with Ohio State as of right now, but they've still got 2 weeks to do this. Lincoln Keenholz, Bryson Rogers, Demarion Witten, Jelani Thurman, Sam Dixon, James Peoples, Bryce West, Logan George, C.J. Hicks, Dom Kirks, Jackson Corville, who's the backup kicker, and then Nick McLarty, who's the gigantic Australian punter,
right,
are going to be doing portaling in the next week or so. So Jaden Fielding out, Jackson Corville out. Ohio State doesn't have a kicker. Now, I think they've offered one of the top kickers in the class of 2026. They can get him on campus as soon as possible, but I think it's portaling for the Buckeyes for not only kicker, for offensive linemen, interior, and for tackles. I think defensive linemen help. I think you need Chaz Coleman. Not maybe an overpay. So if he's looking for the bag and a team wants to give him $2.5, $3 million, then I think Ohio State can say, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
But those are the 3 positions of need. We had chatter earlier in the day on YouTube about field goal kicking.
Right.
And how for at least 4 years, it's been a difficult ask for Ohio State to make a kick greater than 49 yards. And that shouldn't be the case for a team like Ohio State.
It's been sometimes a greater ask to get one over 30 yards.
It's for... I can't figure out why. It's been such an issue. Noah Ruggles, Jaden Fielding. I mean, guys, Ruggles was very steady, but when you needed that big old leg, it wasn't going to be the case. Similarly with Jaden Fielding, but Fielding has exhausted his collegiate eligibility unless he wants to get a lawyer. Someone had asked if any of us could make a field goal. I think it was Rusty in the YouTube chat asked if I could make a 20-yard field goal. You give me 10 tries, I think I make a 20-yard field goal once. And now I've never practiced kicking.
Right.
I've done, I've done kicks when offered to on the field, like, hey, let's goof around and try this. But I don't think I've ever made one over 25. And I had to have a bunch of tries, and they would have to be the luckiest placement
with a good holder,
connection,
not with the tee,
with a good holder, in the world.
Okay. So you're saying you think you could make one from the 10-yard line, maybe the 15-yard line?
Maybe. On the best day with the best conditions, hitting it at the right point.
I think Ohio State kickers could make it that way. Okay, so I think I could make a 25-yarder.
I'd like to think I could make a 25-yarder.
I think I could. I don't, but that's probably about the max, though. But you've got like athletic. You'd go from the side like a soccer kicker, wouldn't you?
Maybe. I don't know.
You would step off.
I would need to at least watch a YouTube video before attempting something that would be in public record. That is something I would like to see if we had the opportunity to be on a football field.
None of us are the kicker for The Ohio State University.
I do wonder how much Ole Miss paid to get Western Kentucky's kicker.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing I would think Ohio State would want to overpay.
Okay.
If you got $1 million to spend on a player, send $1.5 million and tamper the hell out of the Ole Miss kicker.
Now, we are saying all this, but the three of us agree Ohio State didn't lose to Miami because of the kicking.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's a big deal. I don't want to lose a game because of a kicker.
But maybe you're Big Ten champions.
And you have a different draw.
Maybe in 2022.
Maybe beat Michigan last year.
Maybe you're beating Georgia in 2022.
No doubt. Yeah, those calls. I'm saying this kicker, though, Feely did not cost the Buckeyes the game.
No, he did not.
But he didn't help them either.
Didn't help, no.
He missed a chipper,
I didn't help
man.
Either. I know.
There's so much momentum.
He missed a chip shot in the championship
game. So much momentum I thought that could have been gotten for Ohio State against Miami had he made that field goal before the half.
I think so too. No, I agree with that. Yes, I think that was a big.
You tie the game up.
Yep.
If the script continues where Ohio State scores 2 touchdowns in the second half.
Yes.
And it's not like, like we used to say 50-yarders were like this impossible thing. Now we're seeing like almost 70-yard field goals on like a regular basis in the NFL.
Yeah. You're right. Now, great, a lot of them are in controlled environments, much like the game was obviously down in Miami, in the Cotton Bowl. But yes, I agree with you that there's 32 kickers in the NFL. Ohio State should be able to get a kicker that will go to the NFL.
How a school like this that's one of the most glaring issues. Now, I think if we're putting it in terms of we're now the Ohio State's coaching staff and we've got our portal wish list. It's offensive and defensive line help, and then I do think a lot of these coaches can just we'll figure out the kicking situation later.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, knowing what the issues have been for Ohio State, but it is going to be a long off season of what ifs. And with the players, with your roster, with coaching, with obligations, with responsibilities now for 2026, we're in it. And you've still got 3 more college football games to play. Thursday's the Fiesta Bowl semifinal, Miami and Ole Miss. That'll be at 7:30. And then Friday will be the Peach Bowl semifinal, Indiana against Oregon. Hoosiers are the favorite against their rematch for the Ducks, 4.5 in favor of Kurt Cignetti's squad. The U opens as a 3-point favorite against Ole Miss in that. I think it'll take a Trinidad Chambliss miracle game, kind of similar to what he had against Georgia, because if you're running away from your offensive line, Miami will catch you.
Is this good for college football?
I think so.
This Final Four is good for college football.
I think so.
So I know last year was great for college football.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my Buckeye scarlet and gray fever is.
We're still in mourning.
Yeah. And so I don't
So you hate to see that Miami got one over you, because I think Buckeye fans would feel really good about Ohio State's chances against Ole Miss.
Right.
And then Indiana and Oregon. You sure feel good.
I think it's good for college football and good for ESPN are 2 different questions.
These ratings aren't going to be great.
They're not, no. And by the way, how annoying will it be for Miami if Miami fans will come out of the woodwork again if Miami wins this national championship? It'll be awful.
Yeah, but we'll shut up the SEC fans a lot.
That's true.
Because it's a weird place to root, because I think everybody's consensus, boo the SEC, but for the 3rd year in a row, the Big Ten team's going to be playing for the national championship. We are back next week at 9 a.m. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights